Francisco 49ers.
Touchdown! San Francisco!
Sactown Sports.
It's time. It is that time. Time for Stiles and Watkins.
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140. Find us on YouTube at Sactown Sports 1140.
It's time for Alan Stiles and Chris Watkins.
Yes. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. And it finally happened. They went back to back. You're going to hear that a lot because I'm feeling good. I'm feeling like the Kings are starting to get rolling here. And I know the Pistons aren't very good, and that's probably the nicest thing anybody's ever said about the Pistons. And I know the Hornets aren't very good either. But to me, Chris, that's not the point. The point was you've done something or you did something that you haven't done before. You get the back-to-back. Coach Mike Brown feels really good about this team. And what a staunch difference between who you just faced and who you are about to face.
Gosh.
You go from, what is the opposite of the cream of the crop? Is it just the bottom of the barrel? From the bottom of the barrel to the cream of the crop.
Yep.
So the Kings are going to have to flip it because things are going to change. And the speed of the game, I know they all get paid, right? But the speed of the game itself is going to be much different. I'm worried. Obviously, Joel Embiid, assuming he plays, we know he's a problem. I want to see De'Aaron Fox, and we have time to get into the Sixers, don't get me wrong, but Tyrese Maxey, who is going to guard Tyrese Maxey? De'Aaron Fox looked better last night. He looks like he's rounding back into form, but who's going to guard that guy? And to your point, we know we love talking about these longer wings. Tobias Harris, who I think is maybe underwhelmed based on his price tag these last couple years, but that's another guy who's running around. Is Keegan going to have to check him? But on the other side, you got to check the Kings too. But before we get to all that, Chris Watkins, they get the back-to-back done.
Yes.
The easiest back-to-back I think the NBA could create.
Possibly in NBA history.
Possibly in NBA history, but you get it done. How are you feeling about the Beam team?
Good. Yeah, I think what you said there is important, and even I need to remember that we can't criticize this team for not doing easy things, but then when they do something that we view as easy, just disregard it. So, even
look
though
at
it
you.
was
Look at the growth.
Yeah, look at the
Look
growth.
at the
Look
growth.
at it. Look at it. Even though it's a weak back-to-back, even though, the Kings didn't make it look as pretty as possible in that first game in Detroit, they pretty much took care of business yesterday. Charlotte didn't go on any significant runs. They took care of business, and that's what's important. And, like you said, they have a much bigger challenge ahead of them to close out this road trip. Jason told us in the crosstalk, it's 9 straight against Philly, 14 straight losses to the Bucks. So that's a really big challenge for this team.
Not great.
And it'd be nice to see them split them. And hey, I'm not counting out the fact that maybe, just maybe, they can surprise us and win both of them. Because again, we've seen that Bucks team. If you look at their current form, they're up and down. They're not the same team that they've been in the past, where they can really, just suffocate you defensively. It's a lot more open now, and we know how this Kings team likes to get up and down. They like to have high-scoring games, so I don't think that that's necessarily the same challenge that it's been the past couple years. The Sixers, they're a good team. I think they still present all the same challenges that the Kings have faced in the past. Still really long. Still have an MVP in Joel Embiid. I assume he's probably going to play on Friday. No official word on that yet. But yeah, man, it's good that they took care of business, and I'm hoping that they understand that the level of competition just rose, like you said, probably like 3 levels here. So I'm hoping that they meet that challenge head on and don't put themselves behind the 8 ball early against Philly, because that can just demoralize you completely.
Hopefully we have an update on Kevin Huerter,
Hopefully.
who rolled his ankle within the first 3 seconds
Something
of
like
the
that.
game.
Yeah, legitimately.
Right? So that's not great. We're hoping that Kevin recovers quickly and can get back out there. But if he doesn't, it feels like the team is going to rally around the guys that are able to play. So obviously the Kings are going to take over this show as they always do. But we have some really big national news that we need to really dissect. And we're going to do this a couple times here at the beginning of the show and really at the bottom of the show as well. Because when is the last time 3 Hall of Fame coaches decide that they are, well, I guess, did Pete Carroll actually decide or not? I'm not really sure.
Didn't sound
but
like it.
within the course of 24 hours, our childhood,
Yeah.
right, we're getting old, man. We're getting old.
Officially.
Bill Belichick, Pete Carroll, Nick Saban, all done.
All of them.
All done.
In 24 hours.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
nuts. I mean, what a crazy 24 hours. I like you said, the Pete Carroll situation kind of came out of nowhere. I'm excited to talk with Brandon Gustafson at what, at 1:15 to try and hear if there was anything, because I don't know about you.
He's hanging around.
We've been focusing on the Niners pretty strong, but I didn't hear much whispers of, hey, like they're thinking about this, or Pete has it on, has it on his radar that even he's on the hot seat. None of that. We really didn't hear any of it. So really interesting. And then the Saban Belichick thing, I wonder how much of that was coordinated to an extent. I know those two are super, super close, have shared secrets throughout the years with each other. It's probably the Saban one I'm actually not super surprised by, because it feels like when you think about it, this new era of college football they're in, Saban's from the old regime. This is a young man's game at this point, with all of, recruiting was already tough enough for some of these older coaches. Now you're throwing in the transfer portal where you have to not only pay attention to the fluctuation of your team, but okay, now we have to get these high school kids in and these college kids.
Yeah.
It just sounds like a mess. And I can imagine how someone from the old regime would just say, I can't do this anymore. This is not the game that I fell in love with.
No.
And I know how to dominate, much like how you see in college basketball as well, Coach K leaving. I think that it's all connected. And the Belichick thing has kind of felt like it's been brewing for a while. So that one's not the biggest surprise.
Yeah, some people came down my road because I did post yesterday.
No way.
Well, it was half serious, half trolly, because at the end I did say that Saban leaving was honestly kind of soft, okay? And look, I was joking. I was half joking. I'm gonna be honest with you.
You're so lucky we're not in the South. Because,
I think we'd actually have some real problems.
We would have to board up the studio.
But I'm just saying, I understand he's 72 and he is a great coach, right?
Yeah.
But he built an empire.
Yes.
And once he built the empire, the way the NCAA was set up, he just kept benefiting from that empire. They had the best, facilities.
Yeah.
They had the best team.
Yeah.
So he's got 5 stars fighting and fighting.
Yeah.
Then once you got there, you couldn't really leave because you didn't want to sit a year.
Yep.
Once the transfer portal came and NIL, dude, I'm not waiting. Okay, so he couldn't harbor 5-star recruits like he used to, and on top of everything you just said. So I was kidding with the whole soft remark. I'm just teasing. But at the same time,
ran away from the grind, huh?
That's what.
Come on.
Let's just say this. If they never changed the rules, do we think Nick Saban would have been retiring?
No way.
That's all I'm saying. So I'm not coming down his road. Great career.
Yeah.
One of, if not the best college coach of all time.
Best of my lifetime, hands
But
down,
he
not
said,
even close.
what happened to the game I love, and dipped.
Yep.
He said, deuces, I'm not dealing with this. I'm out.
Yeah.
Okay. And Bill Belichick said, yeah, I don't really feel like dealing with the rookie QB, or the Patriots said, we don't trust you to kind of turn this thing around. However it happened, we'll see you when we see you. And Pete Carroll, we know, and we'll talk to Brandon Gustafson later, we know that Pete Carroll didn't want to retire.
Mm-hmm.
So what actually happened? He's still a part of
They want him to be in the front office, but
yeah, he's still a part of the team in some way. So, 3 guys that I would say were, whether you want to use parted ways.
I mean, they tell the story of football, really, of the 2000s.
Yeah.
I mean, from Pete Carroll and USC to, Nick Saban and Bama, but even his short little NFL period needs to be talked about. And then, of course, Bill Belichick just running things for the past 20 plus years. Yeah, I mean, those 3 coaches really, again, they tell the story of the 2000s from Pete Carroll's Seahawks days and all. It's a really big day. I mean, it feels much like in a couple of years, the NBA is going to go through a similar thing where, when LeBron retires and Steph starts reaching the end of his career, it feels empty. And I think we're going to get a sense of that in the NFL next year when, there's who knows if Belichick will be around next season, but Belichick won't be on the Patriots. Tom Brady won't be around anymore. And, it's going to be completely different. And, college football already was going to look completely different next year. But without Saban, it's going to be interesting to see, is this just now the Kirby Smart era? Or is this an opportunity for Deion Sanders to really build up that program? Because, Georgia definitely has the biggest head start on building this, who's going to run college football during this new era. But, I think with the transfer rules and all that stuff, it's pretty wide open. Yeah, it's going to be completely different.
Yeah, that's an outstanding point. When I look at Nick Saban and his tenure, what we always talk about is the hate watching.
Yeah,
you have people that have never been to Alabama wearing roll tide shirts.
I don't give a about nothing but the Tide, baby.
Very true. Thank you, Drewski. Thank you, Drewski.
I don't give a about nothing but the Tide, baby.
Thank you, Drewski. And then on the other side of it, you have the people that, man, I don't like Saban. There's some it was kind of me. It was kind of me too.
That was me.
I don't really like Saban. He's always around. He always has the best recruits.
Yeah.
I just want him to finally lose. Yeah. And then
those big like Gino Auriemma vibes.
Yes. That's another guy. Yeah. It's your time soon. Come on, Gino. It's your time soon too. And then the rules changed. And you still didn't like Alabama. They they won it within the college football playoff, I believe.
Yes,
they won doing that as well, too. So, but it was just different when it was just every single year. Yeah. And correct me if I'm wrong, Kyle, the college football playoff, that started before the transfer portal. And I know it started before NIL, but before the transfer portal.
Yeah, so transfer portal era rules kind of changed around 2019, 2020. This was year 10 of the playoffs, so year 1 would have been 2014.
So the playoff, that was kind of independent, and then you saw the shift, and when Georgia started getting involved, and you have Clemson, who once Dabo didn't have a generational QB, they couldn't do anything. So I think where we're headed to with the transfer portal and with not having that juggernaut, what's scary for college football is you kind of need somebody to hate.
Yes,
I mean, the Chris Watkins and the Alan Stiles that are on the West Coast, are you really fiending to watch somebody?
Could it turn into baseball, where it is just like really regional?
Yeah,
especially with you don't even have Pac-12. Like
you don't have the Pac-12
doesn't exist locally, so
right.
Like, is it just going to be SEC? Like, I of course, in the South, the SEC is always going to be huge. The Big 12, Big 10, it seems like with their expansion, there'll probably be a lot of attention given to it with the weekly matchups that are just going to be insane. But, for a lot of the coasters, if you will, the East and West Coast, I don't know how much interest there's going to be in college. Yeah. I mean, of course, there's going to be the big stories, but to your point, like if there's not this Yankees, Dodgers, Alabama, unless Georgia really becomes that big bad force, I don't know how people who are casually tuning into college football and don't have, some allegiance through family or through themselves, how are they going to relate and really just engulf themselves into the culture of college football? I don't see it happening.
Yeah, got to get to a break. When we get back, we'll pick up the coaches conversation later in the show in the 1 o'clock hour. But it's Beam Talk when we get back, because the Kings are rolling. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
I don't give a about nothing but the Tide, baby.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Nature Wood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
California's largest sportsman's expo is back, January 18th at Cal Expo in Sacramento. Get $3 off coupons at Big O Tires and O'Reilly Auto Parts stores. Get to the action in Toyota's all-new Tacoma. Visit sportsexpos.com for locations, seminars, and show info. Your life outdoors at the International Sportsman's Expo, January 18th through 21st at Cal Expo in Sacramento. More info at sportsexpos.com.
The world has changed a lot these last few years. You can do pretty much anything from your home, including order your new Honda from Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Check out our great selection at StocktonHonda.com or come in today and get pre-approved all in the blink of an eye. Stockton Honda makes buying a car simple and stress-free.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Sacramento has a new tag team in the midday. It's Stiles and Watkins on Sactown Sports.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports. Between those three coaches, 16 championships were won between college and the pros. That's a lot of championship pedigree that will no longer be in their respective leagues. So shout out to them having a little bit of fun with Nick Saban. But it is a changing landscape. Shout out to Pete Carroll. I mean, if I have the same energy as Pete Carroll that age, that would be outstanding.
Incredible.
And Bill Belichick, I mean, I think they all were respected by everyone, but bugged people in different ways.
Definitely.
Which I think is just a part of success, right?
It's also a part of respect. You know?
Yeah, Sean McVay is kind of the new wave of he bugs people. I'm be honest with you. Kyle Shanahan
bothers people.
Kyle Shanahan, but I'll be honest. When I talk Niners, though, I feel like Kyle Shanahan can be a bit smug. But I feel like maybe it's because we're in Niner country. But I don't know if there's that Kyle Shanahan hate yet because he hasn't won. In part, he's got to win.
I think nationally there's a good amount of I don't know if skepticism is necessarily the right word, but I think that there is people are aware of his smugness.
Once he wins,
that's kind of
then
the
he'll
rap
get
on
hated.
Shanahan. Is that he's possibly too smart for his own good.
Right.
So,
And is it just football? I'm thinking off the top of my head, right? If you are we were talking with Jason and, there's Phil Jackson, but do you hate basketball coaches the same way you hate football coaches or baseball managers?
Not really as much anymore. I mean, coaches in the NBA used to be and just in general, used to be a little bit more of like a frontal figure. And nowadays it's so much about the players. You barely even think about the coaches. So,
which is why if you go to college basketball, there's a dozen names of people who are very much hated in that sport.
That's true.
Because the coach is still the CEO.
Coach of the program. Yeah, especially. And it probably is going to
It's becoming less and less. But
I was going to say more and more because you can't follow players. There are no
the brands
JJ Reddick's anymore, right?
Sure.
Because people or even somebody we're going to see on the Suns in a couple of days, Allen, Grayson Allen, guys like that.
It feels more AAU though in college basketball, where it's like, hey, I'm going to play for Penny Hardaway because he's cool, not I want to play for Coach K because I feel like he's going to get me most prepared for the NBA.
Yeah, no, that's true. And it's a new day in both footballs, college football, and also in the NFL as well.
At least until Bill Belichick becomes the Falcons coach.
Is that what you think? He's headed
It seems like Washington and Atlanta are the two places interested, and he still wants to coach.
I wouldn't. Yeah. We can have that conversation. Where are the best spots? I mean, you need a quarterback in ATL.
I'd be like, do you know who I'm Bill Belichick. I get to choose good. I'm not just some random coach. I'm not just.
Those are the good options. There are worse ones out there.
They both have offensive weapons, but neither of them have a quarterback.
Yeah.
So that's the problem. And we can pull up Tankathon to see who's closer to getting their guy and who's higher in the draft.
Well, so Washington has the 2 pick and the Falcons have the 8 pick.
There you go. Or Seattle is probably a more complete team, but you got to deal with the Niners. Let's not forget that. That's a better question. Do you want to also part of building a team? I'd rather go to the NFC South than the NFC West.
Right. And don't think that Bill Belichick's not thinking about that because that man's been in the AFC East for years. That man was just dominating that division. So that's definitely something he can keep aware of.
But
and
also,
if you're thinking of that, NFC South is probably the way that you want to go.
The other available jobs are off the table because, one, Bill Belichick's not going to the Chargers, and two,
why not?
He's not going to, because it's the Chargers. Two, he's not going to the Raiders.
He's going to go to the Commanders then?
So he's not going to the Raiders because guess who's a part owner of the Raiders?
Tom Brady.
Yep.
What about the Titans? You need a quarterback, though.
It depends how you feel about Will Levis.
Mailman.
Those are just Washington and Atlanta are just the ones that Schefter's connecting him to, or at least those teams are interested.
Yeah. Those guys. Mailman can spin it, Will Levis. So we'll see what happens to really all three of them. Don't Saban retiring. That word retire, it's like bankruptcy, right? Bankruptcy means something different for non-rich people than it does for rich people.
Very much.
Retiring means something different in sports than it means in non-sport sporting jobs. So we'll see what happens there. Want to get to this sound. Mike Brown, very happy with the squad and really everything that they've been doing. They come out, they show out, they take care of business, really just front to back a butt whooping. 123-98. Malik Monk balls out. He really shows, hey, from going to getting slapped in the back of the head, oops, upside your head by Michael Jordan to coming back after he was pressing a little bit when Charlotte came to town, and he really kind of made up for it. And the whole team really made up for it because it wasn't just him. They had an awful game when they lost to Charlotte last week. So here's Mike Brown talking about this team getting close to reaching their full potential.
Obviously their records are what they are, to win the way you guys did. What's that mean for you guys at this point?
Well, it means that we're starting to, knock on wood, round into who we think we're capable of being night in and night out. And, we can talk about it all we want. We got to go out there and we got to prove it on a daily basis. And I like our spirit. I like the way that we're just flying around defensively. I like how we're trying to play fast offensively still and how we're sharing the ball. Those bode well, especially when you're on the road, but those things bode well for the quote unquote dog days of the season, because there's a lot of teams at this point in the year and usually carries up to All-Star break who are kind of figuring out if they want to play or not. And then after All-Star break, they figured it out. The ones that don't want to play, you'll see it. And the ones that do, they'll keep playing as hard as they can. And so for us to trend in the direction we're going, I'm excited about it.
Wow. I think what I took away from that is the all-star piece. And really, because Coach Mike Brown has been in this league for so long, basically you're going to see teams start to sell games, or just not sell games, but not really put their best foot forward after the all-star break.
Oh, yeah.
And, if you're on the cusp, and I would say if you're a fifth seed, you're kind of on the cusp. Sure. Who do you want to be? So I wouldn't call that challenging his team, but saying we have to keep on this upwards trajectory if we want to get this done.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, he does correctly point out at some point here, come the All-Star break, though, even teams like the Grizzlies are already starting to wave that white flag.
Yeah, it's done.
And there's a couple teams that'll kind of fall into that as well. But yeah, I mean, you got to take advantage now. Now is really the time where you can separate yourselves. I mean, right now, I was looking at it last night, and I think it changed. But if you look at the Western Conference standings, yeah, it's changed a little bit. But how tight it was. Yesterday, it was first place. The Timberwolves had 10 losses.
I saw that.
Second place had 11 losses. Today, it's 11 losses for the first two seeds, 13 losses for the 3 and 4, 14 losses for the Kings, 15 losses for the 6 seed Pelicans, 16 losses for the Mavericks, so on so forth. You get the idea. This Western Conference is so tight right now. That's why it was so important. We were saying before this 9-game stretch happened, these are very important 9 games. And I think the Kings went 6-3 in that stretch, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Good. They could have done a little bit better. But it was really important because, now that you have a tough stretch of not just how you're closing this road trip, but if you look at the road trip that's coming up after the Kings come home for that 2-game homestand, it's brutal. So you got to be playing your best basketball right now. It's good that Mike Brown seems to think that his team is coming together, I guess, at the right time. But now is definitely a good time to strike and a good time to start to kind of round into form. And it's felt like these past couple games with, frankly, ever since Sabonis has really feels like he's taken the team MVP mantle, this team is really just kind of fallen into place.
Yeah, got to get to a break. When we get back, more sound from Coach Mike Brown talking about the team being as connected as any group he's ever been a part of. We also talk about Keegan Murray balling and doing his thing and the expectations going into a huge weekend with two East Coast beasts. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Kevin Herter plays here.
It's Herter. He's been hot. He fires. He's still hot. Kevin Herter from downtown has a 15-point first quarter.
Sactown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
The 2024 Honda Civic LX sedan from Elk Grove Honda offers all the safety, reliability, performance, and great gas mileage you've come to expect from Honda for all these years. We're Elk Grove Honda in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 at Elk Grove Boulevard.
I gotta get an Elk Grove Honda.
So here's a fact. 85% of the population will suffer from foot pain in their lifetime. That's almost everyone. So you'd think there'd be plenty of healthy long-term remedies, but there just aren't, right? Hi, I'm Dan from the Good Feet store. You know, people come in all the time sharing the same frustrating story. Bought this, tried that, been there, done whatever, all different kinds of things, but all with a similar result. Nothing. A discouraging and endless cycle of disappointment. If this rings a bell, don't despair. There is hope. If you think you've tried everything, you probably haven't tried Good Feet arch supports from the Good Feet store. They're designed to relieve, even eliminate, the pain commonly caused by certain foot conditions like plantar fasciitis, bunions, flat feet, and others. Plus, provide better balance and increased comfort. See what we can do for you with a free arch support fitting. Just stop in or schedule an appointment. With over 200 stores, there's likely one in your neck of the woods. Find yours at goodfeet.com.
Knee, foot, or back pain? Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
Yep, that trailer hitch and folding bed cover from TruckSmart makes road trips a breeze.
Right? I'm so much more organized on the job site since TruckSmart installed my truck rack and toolbox.
And they had it all in stock, so I just waited as they installed everything.
Take a look at this sweet Rhino truck lining. They sprayed it on.
Yeah, you win. That is sweet.
Truck Smart, truck and SUV accessories for on the road and the job site. Stop by one of our 2 locations in Rockland or Auburn. Trucksmart.com. Your truck's gonna love them.
Have you ever envisioned having $500,000 in advertising to conquer the remodel market, but felt overwhelmed at the thought of going it alone? Now you don't have to. Join Subcontractors United and share your advertising with 2 other contractors in your trade. Get $500,000 in advertising for only $1,042 a month. We are so sure this will work that we're giving away free advertising until June 2024 to qualified contractors. Visit subcontractorsunited.com today.
The PGA club fitters at the Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio know that golf should be fun. They also know that players of all abilities will hit the ball farther and straighter, play better golf, shoot lower scores, and have more fun if they get fitted before they purchase golf clubs. Hagen Oaks delivers the same technology and major brands used to fit PGA and LPGA professionals. See how the game can be even more fun. Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio fittings are available 7 days a week. Make yours today by calling 916-808-2531. That's 808-2531.
Got a drain that's clogged up? Or maybe a toilet? Or a faucet that just won't quit leaking? Kenny and Jerry here from Bell Brothers, and we want you to know that it does make a difference which plumber you call. At Bell Brothers, we respect your time by showing up when we say we'll be there. Our technicians are all background checked and drug tested, and will greet you with a smile. They're trained to do the job right the first time, and they carry over 1,000 parts on their trucks, so they won't have to order something and then come back later. They leave the work area cleaner than they found it, and your final bill will be the same as they quoted. That's why they call us the No Surprise Guys. So if you need a plumber, it does make a difference who you call. Call Bell Brothers. Our number is 916-444-1234, or find us online at thenosurpriseguys.com. That's 916-444-1234, or find us online at thenosurpriseguys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
Live and local, it's Stiles and Watkins. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sactown Sports app.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports. And shout out to Kyle behind the glass for us today. It's been a while. since we've had Kyle. So thank you, Kyle, for doing your thing.
Appreciate that. Glad to be here, you guys.
Good. All right, as we continue to talk Kings, Beam Talk, and thank you for everybody that joined the Beam Spaces yesterday, halftime, as we broke down the Kings and Hornets. It actually was much more pleasant than the day before because the Kings were actually doing what they were supposed to do.
Yeah, how about that?
They were taking care of business, and, we talked a lot yesterday about how something looks matters, and the Kings last night looked the part of a team that knows how to go out and take care of business. And maybe it's because they are much more connected than they have been in the past, and maybe they're just a very connected team in general. Here's Mike Brown saying that they might be one of the most connected groups that he's ever been a part of.
Yeah, I mean, this group is special, and it's special from the standpoint that, like I tell you back, it's similar to when I first went to Cleveland. A lot of the guys on that roster, they hadn't been in significant roles and won at a high level. And, LeBron was young, so he hadn't made the playoffs. And we had other guys around that were fairly young and that were kind of finding their way. We had a couple of veterans in there mixed up with them in Eric Snow and Zydrunas Ilgauskas. And it's similar to that with HB in the mix a little bit, with Trey in the mix. But a lot of these guys are guys that were in situations where people either A, gave up on them, or B, they were playing, but their role wasn't significant with that team, and they won at a high level. So now guys are cast in a bigger role here, and they're figuring it out on the fly together of how to win at a high level, and hopefully it'll translate to the playoffs too. And that's what makes this special. The last thing I would say is this group is about as connected as any group that I've been with. They really enjoy each other as people, and on top of that, they enjoy playing with each other as teammates.
I think it's really important. I think all of that is important. I mean, we see I think teams can be good enough to win and not be that close or connected.
Early 2000s Lakers.
Yes, right. You might be able to hate each other if you're talented enough, but if you are lacking talent anywhere, that connection can take you where you need to go. Totally. I mean, I look at the 2022 Warriors.
Exactly.
And yeah, sure. You can make the argument now the way Wiggins and Poole have looked since that year, that maybe the fact that the vibes were so good that the environment helped. And Wiggins, hey, man, we love what you do. We want you to be a third option. We're cool with it. Just be you. Wow, I have somebody that believes in me and somebody that, I can be cool with. Wiggins and Poole were really close. Obviously, you have the trio of Steph, Draymond, and Clay. And was that team? Nobody really had that team do it. They know they had Steph Curry. We know they had Steph, but nobody really had them, marked down to win the whole thing, right? They were probably top 7-ish and best odds to win it, but nobody thought, it's definitely going to be them. And going into the finals, everybody had the Celtics picked. So if you are lacking anywhere, that connection, not only does it help off the court, it helps on the court. Absolutely. Because when you have that belief and you have a real boy, and we know the Kentucky connection with Malik Monk and De'Aaron Fox, all that stuff helps. So I think it's a big deal.
It's huge. No, continuity is massive. And that's why I think the Warrior 2022 Warrior team is a perfect example, because that's how playing with a collection of guys for a certain amount of years or whatever, more than your opponents even is the important thing, can do for you. Like, it's just knowing, the more De'Aaron and Domas play together, the more De'Aaron's going to know, or Sabonis will know, hey, De'Aaron really likes it when I give him a bounce pass on his drives instead of a chest pass, or, he likes it when he's right near the rim instead of a couple steps before. And all those kind of things are things you can only know unless A, you just do a ton of film study, but B, I mean, you're going to have to experience it in real time. I mean, I think of, if when you're growing up in school and you have your schoolyard group of friends that you guys are always playing with, if you guys are playing together, again, you play at recess every day. who
I
likes
put up
what
numbers
shots.
at recess.
Exactly. You
I
know
put up
everybody's
numbers.
weaknesses. And it's not just strengths, it's weaknesses too. It's, I know every time Malik gets attacked going left, he's going to get blown by. He just doesn't have the same quickness. So I know if that's the case, if somebody's going to take him that way, I already know I got to make sure I'm early on my rotations. All that stuff is huge. It's crazy to hear that this group is more connected than last year's group, though, because last year's group, I mean, the vibes were incredible. I would say from the outside looking in, the vibes seem better last year than this year. Maybe it's the expectations that we're all putting on them, but to me, with the beam, and maybe it's like you were saying about the Warriors with Wiggins, everything was new, everything was fresh. It just felt like the overall vibe was better from the crowd to the team. So to hear Mike Brown say that this group is even more connected than last year, to me, that's not nothing. And I'm definitely taking that. And I'm going to bank it because I think that that's something that will show at some point this year. You're always, especially, when things get tough, that's really when that group camaraderie is going to be tested. It has been tested, and it'll crush you. If you're not connected, look at the Warriors. I mean, look how that Jordan Poole punch almost imploded them so many times last year, so much so that Steph had to give that crazy speech at the end of Game 6 in order to rally his guys, and even then Steph had to drop 50 in order for them to clear that series. It can be huge if your team isn't connected, and just, again, when you face adversity, you no longer trust the guy next to you. You're blaming him. You're pointing fingers. And we all know in any work environment, that's not going to produce the best results. So having true friendship, having true camaraderie, having true trust with your teammates is massive just for getting through the 82-game grind.
But now I have a dilemma, because we're hearing they're the most connected, and when you win, everything is great.
Oh, yeah.
But we were just talking about this team giving up 47 to the Pistons.
Right.
And look, I didn't really care. I wanted to see what they did last night because they did win that game. But the blowouts to the Pelicans, is it to the point? Because they're going to get blown out again at some point. We don't know when. So now if I hear this stuff from Coach Mike Brown, are we supposed to just trust that everything is okay? Because we saw, even just 2 days ago, did Coach Mike Brown lose the locker room?
Right.
What's going on with the team? What's up with De'Aaron? And now we're hearing this is the most connected group he's ever been with. So the next time they get blown out by, and I don't know, get the Pelicans one more time, right? What am I supposed to think? I don't know what to do with that.
I would guess it's just the bounce back. And that's, like you said, a blowout is guaranteed to happen. There's still 40-plus games left in the season. They've gotten blown out, 10 times already this year? At least one more time is going to happen. What the group being connected tells me is there should be a recovery from the team. If they get blown out, which, getting killed by 50 at home and then losing by 30 to the Pelicans, that's the type of thing, like you said, without having an in-house meeting and a players-only meeting for them to come together. And, the Detroit game wasn't great, but even then, in real time, in the middle of that game, to not crumble, to not point fingers, to not say, oh my God, coach is going to ream us, here we go again, for them to pick themselves up. I think that's the showing of the connectivity, and that's ideally, I think, what Mike Brown is hoping from this team, is that through all this adversity, because they're so close, forget all the trade rumors, forget all that stuff. It seems like that's going to go quiet, at least for the time
That's actually
being.
a good point, though.
Let's come together and just do it.
If this is the most connected team, I mean, I know business is business, but do you want to mess that up? If you're Monty McNair and you hear Coach Mike Brown say that, you can't. This isn't Steph Curry saying if you do the same thing, that's insanity, right? Which he said last night. We have plenty of Warriors sound because we could be looking at a trade with the Warriors. But if you're Monty McNair, you can't let that sway you, right? I mean, that's cool, and I'm happy.
It's a good starting point.
But this is a business, and I got to make the best moves. We just talked about, is Coach Mike Brown actually speaking to Monty McNair when he says guys aren't doing things and he's playing JTA? So could it more so be these guys are connected, but it's more about the guys that I'm able to count on more than others are really the ones that are connected. Yeah. It's hard for me to believe that Chris Duarte is as connected with the guys that played last season, and not that Chris Duarte is on the chopping block, but even, I mean, I know Harrison Barnes has been there, but I don't think it throws a wrench into anything. Because you're Monty McNair, you still got to make moves. This is the NBA. This is not CYO, okay? Right. So you still got to make moves, but I do think it might at least make him, okay.
Definitely.
Hey, Mike, do you want to have a conversation?
Who are the right guys even? Or,
yes.
Or what is the Jenga block that's too crucial to this?
Yes.
Like, is Harrison Barnes so crucial to the connectivity of this entire team that if I take that piece out, everything could crumble based on the guy you bring in?
For the guy you bring in, right? Hey, is messing up the connectivity worth a Dorian Finney-Smith?
Yep.
We know Pascal might be worse messing up the connectivity, but what's that line? Yep. And they need to probably have that conversation. All right, got to get to a break. When we get back, Sam Amick had a conversation with Jason Ross during the morning show, and we will have sound for you as he talks more Pascal Siakam. Maybe this thing isn't done yet. Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Last season, the Sacramento Kings gave us a little bit of everything. A Pacific Division title, GM of the Year, Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, All-Stars and All-NBA performers. Plus, we got to light the beam.
Here's a steal by Fox, the breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
What does this season have in store? Find out. Each and every Sacramento Kings game can be heard right here on your proud home of the Beam team, Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
The first time I tried to quit vaping, I told myself that it was like a mountain that I had to climb over. And once I got to the other side, it would be clear. But I couldn't make it over. What really got me to quit was my little sister. I saw her vaping. So I was back in the mountain, but this time she was up there with me. It's weird what you can do for others that you won't do for yourself.
Every attempt is part of your story to quit for good. Visit Kick It California today at kickitca.org.
Jackson Hewitt has a plan to get your tax refund fast with a buck here, buck there, here buck, there buck, everywhere buck.
You don't have to wait weeks for your tax refund. Get money sooner with a no-fee refund advance loan at Jackson Hewitt.
On this loan, there's a money today guarantee. E-I-E-I-Do.
Don't settle for chicken feed. Get fast bucks at Jackson Hewitt today. No-fee refund advance loans by Republic Bank offered to eligible clients. Money today guarantee if approved for a loan on a prepaid card. Details at jacksonhewitt.com. Paid for by government.com.
Did you hear? A recent stash of $10 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s, and less than 50 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-473-3993, and you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-473-3993. Call now, and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-473-3993 now to secure your $10 gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-473-3993.
Sacramento's premier music festival, Country in the Park, is back. 2 big old nights, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Walker Hayes, and more. 2-day GA tickets are on sale now starting at $85, or upgrade your experience with VIP or pit passes. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPFest.com. Brought to you by Bonnie Plumbing, Electric Heating and Air.
Contact Tax Relief Helpers for details and restrictions. Attention anyone that owes money to the IRS. The IRS has restarted aggressive enforcement actions against taxpayers who owe back taxes that were temporarily suspended for COVID. If you owe $10,000 or more, you must hear this, because now is the time to clear your IRS tax debt. A special toll-free number has been established so you can stop penalty fees, avoid liens, levies, and other hostile measures by the IRS. Call Tax Relief Helpers right now at 800-817-7142. Tax Relief Helpers will provide you with the maximum protection afforded by law.
I got behind on my taxes and owed $48,000. I didn't know what to do. I called and they got my bill lowered to just $3,500.
I owed $87,000 in taxes, and it was scary.
I got the amount I owed down to just $3,500. I saved $83,500.
If you owe money to the IRS, don't wait another day. Call 800-817-7142 right now before the IRS enforces liens, levies, and other aggressive measures. The call and consult are absolutely free. Call now. Call 800-817-7142. 800-817-7142. 800-817-7142.
Big savings are back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? We have options for everyone. Plus, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make for lower payments. It's no wonder Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at FolsomLakeHonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not.
Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Sacramento has a new tag team in the midday. It's Stiles and Watkins on Sactown Sports.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. The Kings are rolling. Connections, the vibes, everything is where it needs to be right now. And just, less than 48 hours ago, when they were down 20 to the worst team in the league, a shorthanded worst team in the league, and gave up 47 points. Kings fans were in shambles. Not so much anymore, but look, I'm sure there's still a lot of people out there thinking, hey, I mean, they did what they were supposed to do. It was the Pistons and the Hornets. Let's see what happens here. Because I'll tell you what, I don't want to hear about connectivity if you don't have to win both. You don't even have to win both games. You can't get blown out.
Be
both
competitive,
games.
man.
Yes.
That's the thing that's like been crazy about why I don't understand why people are questioning us for the Kings, for being upset at the Kings being blown out. It's because it doesn't have to be like that.
Right.
You can lose and still lose respectively. Oh my God.
Fully.
Thank
Here
you.
you go.
Man, long week. So glad next week we have a shorter week, man. These 5-day weeks are just too much for me.
You're good.
But yeah, I mean, I definitely think that this team, like they have a lot to prove still. I mean, yeah, the real test you could definitely say starts now. You did what you were supposed to do, but again, this is where these are the caliber of teams that you're supposed to be playing with, and so you better at least, again, just show up. We're not saying you got to get both results, but show some fight. Show some, okay, the Sixers can't just get exactly what they want, and we're going to respond and do what we can. Like, try and actually take things away from these two teams. I want to see what it would look like if these two teams maybe met in a game that actually had some stakes. And so, yeah, I hope that the Kings take the momentum that they've gotten from these two wins. I mean, I'm looking at it now, and it doesn't feel like it. Kings have won 4 of their last 5. They've won 6 of their last 8. Like they're winning basketball games right now, regardless of how it looks. Take that momentum, take those good feelings, and hopefully keep them going. Don't crush it. Again, if you play the Sixers, you play the Bucks, and you lose competitive games, that's not going to kill your spirit. It's not going to have you feeling like, oh, man, I'm telling you, something's wrong. Trade's around the corner. Everybody should be checking over their shoulder. Try and keep this thing balanced. And, yeah, I mean, you know, of course, go out there and get the result if you can. But if you can't, at least make it competitive.
Yeah. That's all I want to see. You don't even have to win either game. You really don't. No. But if you are –
show me something.
Yes, if you are a shot away and it rims out or something doesn't go your way or Giannis just drops – 60 on you and you try to take the ball from him and there's a whole nother situation.
Show some anger.
Give us something like that. But, you know, the bottom line is we still don't think that this team is probably championship level as constructed.
Right.
And that is why we continue to have these conversations about trades and who is available. So Sam Amick, friend of the station and of the morning show of The Athletic, great piece earlier this week about what's going on with Pascal Siakam. He was on with Jason Ross earlier this morning and had some things to say about Pascal Siakam not being that excited about this specific situation.
If he's a free agent this summer, as expected, but more specifically to the Kings, that he's not excited about that possible situation and would very likely not resign.
Not good. Not good. There's more sound here. This is also Mr. Amick saying that he doesn't hate Sacramento. It's not about the market. This is it
So
right here.
nobody's trying to say he's not going to show up and ball out. So from there, who knows? But I do think there's it's not a market thing per se. There is a specific element with the Kings that it just doesn't have him excited. So, that'll be part of their calculus.
Yeah.
What does that mean, Sam? What does it mean?
I think it's very. I'm pretty sure I know what it means.
What's that?
Per source. The source is me. Per me. All right. It's exactly what we talked about on the Kings Roundtable in yesterday's show, right? You have he wants to be, I guess, numero uno, and at worst, number 2. You have Sabonis, who is balling out of control. We got to talk about fan votes. Can I say this real quick? A quick tangent. Can you please go vote for Domas? He's not even on the list in the front court. He's not on the list. He's got, in 2024, better stats than Jokic. Okay, we know it's a popularity contest. Go out there and vote. I see everybody. Look, if you're listening on the apps or wherever it may be, and you're not the Sacramento area, you got to take care of business. Those listening that may not be in the Sacramento area, we see you at the games. We see you chanting "Light the Beam" in Detroit, in Charlotte. You got to go out there and take care of business. All right, got to vote for our guy who's putting up Wilt Chamberlain, Oscar Robertson numbers. Please.
It's crazy.
So it might be too late to get him into the top 3 for a starter, but what's the number if you see him on the graphic?
Get him on the
you'd be okay with?
list.
So
He's not on the list.
If De'Aaron's 8, at this point,
so he should be 8. Is that what you're thinking?
Get him on the list.
Just get on the list.
Okay. I understand De'Aaron's more popular than Sabonis is, but it's like if De'Aaron's 8, then it's like Sabonis. He's got to be at least 10 here. Come on.
He's got to be on the list. So go out there, take care of business. You have to do it. Okay.
Get more votes than Karl Anthony Towns, man. Come on.
Right.
That's the bar. Got it.
That's the bar. Okay. Now getting back, he was on MVP ladders.
Yep.
Sabonis
Still
on
is.
MVP ladders.
Shout out.
Okay. And here's
Basketball Reference has him at 8.
Here's the front court. All right. Number 1, LeBron James. Number 2, Jokic. Number 3, Kevin Durant. Number 4, Anthony Davis. Number 5, Kawhi Leonard. Number 6, Şengün.
Yeah, come on.
He's balling, but Şengün.
That's NBA Twitter just going
Sabonis will
ham.
get in over Şengün, but Şengün deserves to be an all-star.
Yeah, but
Sure.
this is fan voting though. I'm not saying actual play. I'm just saying popularity. Go out and take care of business.
A lot of people in Houston.
There's a lot of people out here. A lot of people trying to light the beam all over the place, all right? That's why the Kings were the team of the year, but innovative team, okay, who came up with the beam. Paul George, number 7, Wembanyama, number 8, all right. Chet Holmgren, number 9, and 2, Chris's point, Karl Anthony Towns, number 10. I thought people didn't even like Karl Anthony Towns.
They don't. They sure
How
don't.
is he on the list? Everyone's always making fun.
That tells you how much people don't like Sabonis.
That's actually a great point.
It's really
That's
what it
actually
is.
an outstanding point.
Yeah.
And I like Karl Anthony Towns, don't get me wrong, but I thought other people didn't. But somehow he's number 10. All right, getting back. We'll talk more about the All-Star vote later in the All-Star game. Get out there and vote. De'Aaron Fox still number 8 among guards. Getting back to the conversation about Sam Amick. It's very simple, Chris, and you can say, per source, which is myself, you got De'Aaron Fox, you got Sabonis, and you got the rise of Keegan Murray. I don't think Keegan Murray would count the same way against Siakam, but I do think it's simply, I want to be a clear-cut number 1 or 2. And that's the thing about making a big 3, you have to find somebody that wants to be 3.
Yeah.
And maybe, and here's the problem. It's not that Sabonis doesn't want to be 3. I think the problem is right now, we don't see how he could be 3 based on how the offense works.
Exactly.
You just spent all this time saying we can't afford to sit Sabonis even against the Hornets because who's going to – now maybe having Siakam and that redundancy instead of looking at it as a negative would be a positive. You could think about it like that, but maybe Siakam is saying, yeah –
I'm not looking at it like that. That's not what
I'm not signing up for that one.
Yeah, I mean, that would definitely be my guess, too. I mean, like you said, he's somebody who's been traditionally the number 1 or number 2 option for his team, and he's probably looking for, I mean, if he is going to be the third option, something tells me he'd much rather be the third option in LA than in Sacramento. And I think that's more what it comes down to as well. I don't think it's necessarily
2.5
the market
2A,
specific,
2B,
but it's like, if you're going to ask me to do this, then I'm going to need to be getting something out of the situation besides, I love this city, but besides the love of basketball, because that's really what you're asking
or
for.
the star power.
Because I mean, he wants to be, like you said, he wants to be that star. He wants to be in Golden State. It sounds to me, it doesn't sound like he's guaranteeing he's going to re-sign with anybody, but it sounds to me he's definitely leaning towards, if he is going to be moved, he'd prefer Golden State be the destination because he gets to play with Steph Curry. There's the cachet of, oh my gosh, like I'm in this big market, and if I can turn this thing around, then people are going to be talking about Pascal Siakam at a different level. It makes sense to me, but ultimately, I mean, I think the Kings just shouldn't be in on him. I feel like with all the will he, won't he, of course, it makes a little bit of sense, like we talked about yesterday. If they come back and say, all right, we will do Kevin Huerter and Harrison Barnes, you can think about it for sure. It definitely becomes a lot more enticing at that point. But for this guy who could possibly A, ruin your vibe, which we just talked about, or B, just completely ruin your style of play, like that's a big piece to just throw into this offense and say, let's figure it out on the fly and hope that you can just kind of slip into a role, or we can carve a role out for you. Again, that feels like that would really derail everything that this team is built towards this year.
And we just played the sound, the most connected team that Coach Mike Brown has ever been around. All right, got to get to a break. When we get back, continuing the conversation. If Pascal is off the board, who should the Kings look at? And the Warriors, they are having a fire sale in the Bay Area. It might be the cheapest thing that you can buy in the Bay Area. A Warriors player besides one Steph Curry. We're opening up the phone lines on the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. All guests and callers join us from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop, 916-339-1140. Shout out to the Sack Chat. Haven't done that yet. And shout out to the text line, Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The 49ers earned the NFC's top seed.
On the first play of the game, CMC Dynamite!
Join all of our shows. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles, and Watkins. And the Drive Guys as they follow their quest for a 6th Super Bowl title.
Pressured right away by Young and sacked by Eric Armstead.
Sacktown Sports is your home for San Francisco 49ers football.
San Francisco!
There are many things to love about winter. Cozy sweaters, celebrations, and family time. But winter can also bring many stressors, extra expenses, seasonal bugs, and so much family time. If you and your loved ones are feeling stressed or anxious this winter, CalHope can help. Check out our free mental health resources at calhope.org today.
The Arnold Law Firm has seen how an injury can turn anyone's life upside down. Whether it's a slip and fall, a car accident, or any other kind of injury, for almost 50 years, the Arnold Law Firm has been here to help you through the entire process to protect you and your family. If you are ever injured or in an accident, call the Arnold Law Firm. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777. That's 916-777-7777.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave asking you, are you feeling the pain of paying more and more for your gas? PG&E has increased their rates 4 times in the last 5 years, and the new forecast says PG&E customers may see their bills increase 32% by 2026. The good thing is there are steps you can take to protect yourself from these rate hikes, and better yet, American Energy may be able to help you completely eliminate your gas bill with a new ultra-high efficiency comfort system. Did you know SMUD offers huge rebates to eliminate your old gas guzzler? They can help you guide through the whole process. Seriously, listen to me. You go to the SMUD website. There's tons of rebates available, but it is confusing on how to do it. Listen to these rebates. $2,500 from American Energy, $3,500 from SMUD, $1,000 from Caltech, $2,000 home system upgrades. That's $9,000 in rebates. Let American Energy help you out at 916-520-9990.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Guys, want to lose weight, improve your performance, and increase your drive? Revive Men's Health Sacramento can help you address the root causes of weight gain, low energy, poor drive, and performance issues. And since your testosterone level has a direct impact on your weight and fitness, we'll give you a free T-check and free exam at Revive Sacramento. Imagine upping your game, losing weight, and getting in shape all at once. Revive can help you make it happen with our new cutting-edge weight loss medications like your favorite athletes and celebrities use. They're affordable and available now. Weight gain and low T are treatable conditions. We know we can help you. Take that first step and book today. You're only one step away from getting in the best shape of your life. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
The world has changed a lot these last few years. You can do pretty much anything from your home, including order your new Honda from Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Check out our great selection at StocktonHonda.com or come in today and get pre-approved all in the blink of an eye. Stockton Honda makes buying a car simple and stress-free.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Discover Roseville's hidden gem, Timbers at the Lodge, nestled in the Timber Creek Golf Course. Savor a culinary journey where every bite tells a story. We serve breakfast 7 days a week with happy hour Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m., where you can relax on the outdoor patio next to our newly renovated and expanded putting green. Thursdays always feature our $28 prime rib dinner. Reservations encouraged. Learn more at timbersatTheLodge.com. We look forward to welcoming you to Timbers at the Lodge, where exceptional food meets great times. Have you ever envisioned having $500,000 in advertising to conquer the remodel market, but felt overwhelmed at the thought of going it alone? Now you don't have to. Join Subcontractors United and share your advertising with 2 other contractors in your trade. Get $500,000 in advertising for only $1,042 a month. We are so sure this will work that we're giving away free advertising until June 2024 to qualified contractors. Visit subcontractorsunited.com today. Welcome the new year with EB Stone, your go-to for indoor gardening success. In 2024, enrich your indoor oasis with EB Stone's Indoor Potting Mix, our best premium blend crafted for vibrant growth. Explore our comprehensive range from soil amendments to fertilizers and find everything your indoor garden craves. Nurture new beginnings, cultivate lush landscapes, and witness your dreams unfold. Cheers to a green and thriving new year with EB Stone, the heartbeat of your indoor garden success. Find a location near you for our products and tips at ebstone.org.
The new year is here at Folsom Lake Kia. Shop my favorite dealer, Folsom Lake Kia, for low interest rates, low payment with 0 down deals with approved credit. Folsom Lake Kia for over 25 years right here in Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, KHTK-AM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento, the only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Sactown Sports.
Live and local, it's Stiles and Watkins. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sactown Sports app.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. If Pascal Siakam is off the table and that deal is all but done. I mean, first of all, this goes to Masai Ujiri. I would say you go 1 of 2 on your top guys that you were trying to move, and you move OG, and you got good value, great value back for OG. I would say a lot of people said, wow, Knicks got finessed. Everybody likes to say somebody got finessed on trades.
Yep.
Yeah.
We know about that.
It depends. Yes, very much so. It just depends on what that team needs. All right. Can you give it a rest? But yeah, there you go. And if you got great value for one, the chances of getting great value for both would be what you'd hope for, but maybe not realistic. Right. And maybe you could blame Masai, or maybe you could say, hey, man, I was going to hold them both hostage, and I just really wanted to get great value for hopefully one of them.
Right.
And he's already done that. And he's going to get something decent back for Pascal. Yeah. But now that Pascal has been fairly open about wanting to test free agency, I think he just waited a little bit too long. But if Pascal is off the table for the Kings, who else should they look into? I feel like we've talked so much about the Carusos of the world, and names heat up and names cool off. This is from the 530 on the text line on the Folsom Lake Honda hotline, text line. Sounds like Siakam wants to be the star of the show.
Yep.
And he is not going to be here in SAC, not going to be it here in SAC. He is missing out on the connectivity of the team, the 530. Connectivity now.
I know.
We're all connected. We are all connected. Yeah, he definitely does. And let's just be honest. We just named off the value of somebody and how they are perceived are two different things.
Mm-hmm.
We just talked about how Sabonis is going to be on that Netflix show, the NBA Netflix show. Yesterday it was announced, and people are saying, what the heck is that guy doing with the rest of these stars? Now, I get it. Productivity is not the same as star power, but based on who you are and what you're doing in this league, Domantas Sabonis has every right to be highlighted in that show. But this is the perception. So if you're Pascal Siakam, I'm not going to go to Sacramento and be 2A, 2B to a guy who's number 8 in fan voting for All-Star and a dude who ain't even on the list.
Yeah.
Okay? And those three things, like, okay, I got, and by the way, based on that Sam Amick sound, as people were saying, oh, is this a Sacramento conversation? It wasn't. At least from what we're hearing, our guy Sam Amick, it was not about the market. It was about the fit. And this is just Chris and I speaking here, thinking that it was about the fact that Pascal knows ball, and he sees how that offense runs through Sabonis, and he sees De'Aaron taking over in the fourth quarters. Where am I going to fit in here, right? What's that fit look like?
And the money, too.
We talked to Sean Woodley last week, and he thought that Sabonis and Pascal Siakam of Locked On Raptors, he thought it was redundant. So maybe Pascal Siakam felt the same way.
Right.
So now moving on from that, the question is, what next, right? And with Kevin Huerter going down, how does that change things? Harrison Barnes being, I guess, hot and cold, or I wouldn't say hot, being lukewarm and cold. How does that affect things? That is the question. But real quick, Chris, I want to get to the SAC chat because we know we love our SAC chatters holding it down. Are we really doing this? I saw a name in there. Now there are people wanting to start Alex Len. Is that what we're doing?
Start Alex Len?
Yes, sir.
Whoa.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
In this economy.
No, I mean, that's probably a step too far. Like, I understand some people probably feel like the Kings do need to address the rim protection issue. And just the fact that, even last night in the first half, the best the Hornets looked was in that first quarter. You had Terry Rozier and Miles Bridges just getting to the rim easy. Like that is a problem. And Alex played great last night. I think he had 8 points, 10 rebounds in like 15 minutes, something crazy like that. It just kind of clunks up the offense a little bit. Like, with Sabonis being the North Star, or the engine, or whatever you want to call him of the offense, you have so many people moving around him. It's best to keep as many guys out on the perimeter and nobody really in the paint so that De'Aaron can drive and Sabonis can drive if none of the handoffs work out. It really boggles things up. So I can't see Alex Len ever really entering the starting lineup for this team unless it's matchup dependent, like, maybe against a Timberwolves or something like that with Gobert and Towns. Possibly they think to do that, but honestly, I would think that they'd lean towards going the opposite way and going small and putting Trey at the 5 against a team like that. So I can't see it, but I'm not saying Alex Len doesn't deserve minutes because, man, every time that dude plays, it just feels like good things happen. And he's just a really steady center presence. Doesn't ever wow you, doesn't do anything really spectacular, but just really puts in a great backup center shift.
Yeah, and that was from Beamer Beams or Beamley on the SAC chat. Always one of my favorite names on the SAC chat, which is funny because they then go on to say, do that versus New Orleans. Is New Orleans that far in the domes of Kings fans that you're thinking about New Orleans right now?
The overall height isn't the problem.
You got the 76ers on Friday, and then you got Giannis and the Bucks, and we're talking about the next. When do they even play the Pelicans again?
I think it's March.
What do we really? Why?
Yeah, no. I know. I think I saw something on Reddit too, Kings Reddit, of, hey, I was looking at the standings and with the Clippers and the Pelicans looking like they're going to be the whatever seeds, should we maybe consider falling back into the
Come on, man. What are we
come
doing?
On, y'all. We cannot be ducking smoke like that at all.
That's crazy.
At some point, if you want to be a Western Conference finalist or whatever, you got to beat tough teams. You got to beat the team in front of you. You got to beat them all. And so, you shouldn't be afraid of anybody. And if you are, which, I'm not even saying you're wrong to be afraid of the Pelicans, but if you are afraid of multiple teams, that probably tells you that it's probably not your year anyways.
I don't know, Chris. When I think of the most feared players in the NBA, one of the first names I think of is Herb Jones.
Hey, well, Herb balls against the Kings. Well,
People
they
are afraid
all
of
do.
Valanciunas
They
too,
all
man.
do. Well, look, they did just go off against. They just embarrassed the West Coast. They just embarrassed Northern California.
Yeah.
Remember back in the day, Biggie, Tupac, when there was beef? I mean, there's beef. They got beef with Northern California because they showed out. They
killed the
They
Warriors.
beat the Kings by 33.
Something like that.
And then they beat
spiritually it was 50.
And then they beat the Warriors by 36.
Yeah, that game was over by the third too.
Okay, but you look down at, and I know they've dealt with injuries, things like that.
Yeah.
That's a confusing thing about the Pelicans because every season we go through this cycle where are they going to put it together? Somebody gets injured.
No,
Are they gonna put it
actually,
together?
right around now is the time where they tend to fall off.
Yes. And then, as Coach Mike Brown said, we're going to see what happens after the All-Star break. That's when teams that really want to play, they play. And we know it wasn't too long ago Zion wasn't buying in, and things were lackadaisical, and there was a lot of weird things happening in New Orleans. So I'm not ducking any smoke from New Orleans. I know the Kings got them one more time, but yeah, we got bigger fish to fry. I'm sorry. You haven't beat the Sixers in how long? 14
games, I think Jason said.
14
no, that's
games?
9.
9
It's
games?
14 against the Bucks.
The Bucks, their
my
last
apologies.
victory against the Bucks was November 25th, 2015.
You do the Sixers, please, if you have that. You haven't beat the Bucks
I'm gonna have to look
since
at the Kings
2015.
Oh my!
I have the starting five here, Chris.
You do?
I have the starting five for both teams.
Oh my gosh!
So you haven't beat the Bucks since
we can do it next
2015. You haven't beat the Sixers in probably 2019.
Well, 9 games. I'll have to see what happened in the weird shutdown year,
Right.
but it's either 2018 or 2019.
And we're talking about the Pelicans right now.
Yeah, I mean they got them shook.
The
Rightfully
Pelicans. I'm just not. I know the Pelicans. Look, there's no.
Now is not the time to think about.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The Pelicans are they can be legit.
Yeah.
But there's a reason you are what your record says you are, and maybe they just have the Kings number. But let's see what you got a nationally televised game against the Sixers, with Joel Embiid, the reigning MVP.
Yep.
Nobody thinking about Valanciunas.
All right. Now.
February 2nd, 2019 was the last time the Kings beat the Sixers.
Come on, man. Come on.
It's bad. Yeah. Now is just not the time to be thinking about the Pelicans. And I mean, with I think about the same thing with the Clippers. It's like, yeah, they look really scary right now, and that's definitely a team that the Kings have struggled with already this year. But let me see what that team looks like come
Clippers.
April. Come April, let's see how healthy those two teams are, because
That's
now
a great point.
both of them are about as healthy as they've ever been in their entirety of their runs. And history says that that's not going to last for 82 games. And come playoff time, more than likely one or two of their stars will probably be missing some time, or at least banged up.
Kawhi Leonard extended for 3 years. So,
and James Harden, things always work out with James Harden.
yeah,
right?
James Harden, I'm sure things will be chill in
Yeah.
about 2 months.
Yeah.
But look, I get it. It hasn't looked great. But on a day where the Kings finally won their back-to-back, right? On a day where they're getting ready for a game that got flexed into prime time against the reigning MVP and one of the upcoming guards, another Kentucky guy, right, coming up in this league, and Tyrese Maxey. We're going to talk about Philly, and we're going to talk about some cheesesteaks, and hopefully we get a cheesesteak beam if the Kings take care of business. All right, got to get to a break. When we get back, that other team that the Pelicans just smacked, they're crumbling like the cookies that Jason Ross and Carmichael Dave talk about in the morning. And we're going to tell you, and we're going to have sound for you for the Warriors and what is happening next. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
The handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles the man. 10-5. Touchdown! C
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football, Sactown Sports.
Hey, what's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet, Hoblet Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Woodland. Well, it's a new year, so the big question is, what's happening at Hoblet for Chrysler's Start Something New sales event?
We're starting the year off with even more savings. Right now, you can save up to $15,000 off MSRP on new 2023 Ram 2500 heavy-duty trucks with no payments for 90 days. That means you can get the new personal or company truck you've been needing and not make a payment for 3 months.
But why choose Hoblet versus all the other guys?
Because we not only have the best savings, we have the best selection of the hard-to-find heavy-duty trucks you need. Plus, when you come to Hoblet, you get the big city savings with the small-town family feel. There's a reason why so many of our customers buy from us over and over again.
See our full inventory at hobletdodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period. 15,000 total net savings after 98.34 factory rebates and 51.66 dealer discount. Rebates may include 1,000 Case equipment bonus cash. Must have purchased qualifying new equipment from Case dealer. No payments for 90 days through Chrysler Capital on approved credit. 10th is net savings. See dealer for details.
Sacramento has a new tag team in the midday. It's Stiles and Watkins on Sactown Sports.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. Life is but a bitter circle, and all things come to an end. And we weren't sure if the Warriors were fully done. I called it not too long ago, but you got Steph Curry, you got a top 3 player, a top 5 at worst in the league. He has not been playing like a top 5 player. And last night, the Pelicans, a.k.a. Thanos, came to town and crushed the hearts of the Bay Area Nation, the Dub Nation fans. Boos for the second time. Oh, we got sound on those boos later in the show. But now we have Shams, who comes out today and says that anybody want a Warrior? We got Warriors. Warriors over here, Warriors over there. Who want a Warrior? Who want a Warrior? And the only Warrior safe from this is Steph Curry, which is honestly pretty confusing. But let's get to Shams and that sound and what he had to say about the Warriors.
Everyone but Steph Curry is on the table. That's their mindset. Now, realistically, there's an asterisk, right? Like Klay Thompson, would they want to keep him long-term and keep him in Golden State? I think that's been their hope. They have not been able to reach a contract extension with him. We've talked about it. And Draymond Green just got back from an extension. Those have been their 3 core guys in the front office. They're big fans of Jonathan Kuminga, big fans of Brandon Podziemski. They're big fans of Trace Jackson Davis. But Wiggins and everyone else on that roster except Steph Curry has to be in play for this team. 2 blowout losses in a row. They haven't even been close in these games. And so they're going to be looking to make moves.
So is he saying that Trace Jackson Davis and Podziemski are untouchables?
Untouchables. Complete untouchables.
I thought he was saying that they liked them, but they would consider trading them, it sounded like.
But they'd rather trade the older guys first, for sure.
Yeah. It seemed like it. I mean, I think it depends on the package.
That's
too.
crazy. Hey, we went from last season when Draymond punched a dude, right? And when it was, for a little bit, was it going to be Clay? Was it going to be Jordan Poole? Steph Curry saying we're a package deal, to now Steph Curry saying, hey, doing the same thing as insanity. We still thought the big 3 was safe. And you're going to come out, and we know Shams has his sources, right, sure per source. And you're going to come out and say that Draymond, Clay, they can go. Hey, Steph, you're safe, obviously.
Yeah.
And Trace Jackson Davis and Brandon Podziemski, shout out Santa Clara, they're safe? What is going on in San Francisco?
I think this is a classic case of you're always the last one to know when it's over. It's the party is clear, the lights have turned on, and Steph is looking around, and it's like, wait, I thought this thing was supposed to go for another year.
Yeah.
I thought we had another 2 years. Wait, but now I'm looking around, and everybody that I thought was going to be here is gone.
It's a mess.
It's a complete mess, and I think it is just a matter of, like Steph said yesterday. I mean, we can't keep doing this and expecting to see a different result. So it does feel like if if you feel like things are slipping away and in the Warrior way of old or the style of play isn't there anymore, I mean, Steph ain't going anywhere. Steph is still at the top of his game. It's not that hard for, I think, Steph to look around and finally realize, hey, man, Klay is not the guy that he was a couple years ago. Now, does that mean he has absolutely no value? Absolutely not. Klay Thompson is still one of the best shooters we've seen. It's just if he can't defend and if he's not going to be as consistent from three, he's not – I don't want to say he's not special, but he's not he's not Klay Thompson. He is no longer the guy that is irreplaceable. He now becomes just a guy who is kind of a 3-and-D player. You have to think of him more as a role player than as this big star. And I think Steph is looking around and seeing, man, I don't think there's any other stars in this building besides me anymore. And I do think that it's just a matter of that. And I think the Draymond thing definitely sobered him up to realizing this thing is over. This thing is definitely
as
over.
presently constructed. Yeah. So my question is, do you think that they went to Steph and said, hey, we know what you said last summer about the package deal. You see how things are going. Can we get your blessing to move forward with this thing?
I mean,
Or
I guess
did he
you
just
have
say,
to, but
you know?
if I had to guess, like, I don't think they had to have a conversation. I would assume they would because, you know, the Warriors are a good organization and they're well aware that you probably can't do anything anyway without Steph's or having at least running it by Steph. But, I mean, their performance this year goes without speaking. Like, I don't think Steph Curry's been out there for, I think, every single game this year, or for the most part, every game. I don't think he needs to be told that this situation's not going how I think everybody thought it would.
Yeah. Wow. That's something else.
That's crazy.
And now bringing it back to the Kings.
You could tie that in with the Belichick, with the Saban, like with
right.
This is
It's a new day
it's
in
a
the
new
sports
day.
world. Now,
It's the Podzemski era.
okay, come on now. Well, look, I'm not saying that until something actually, a move actually is made,
sure,
and one of the big three is gone.
Sure.
Then we can put that into the same category. But it looks to be moving that way. I keep refreshing this thing to see is something.
Remember like 5 years ago when Cleveland, it was LeBron's last year and Cleveland just refused to trade that first round pick at the deadline?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's kind of the vibes that it's giving off for the Warriors right now. It's like Steph is demanding they get better and they're like, well, we don't really want to compromise our future because this ship is sinking.
Yeah, it's done. And to bring it back to the Kings, who you want? I mean, if the Warriors are having a fire sale, and it's not a fire sale, but that's what's weird to me. Before we get to the Kings, we talked about this, and this is not trying to be hot takey. If everybody is on the table, how is Steph Curry not on the table?
Mm-hmm.
What are you trying to accomplish? Because you're not going to get enough back.
Yeah, right.
What, Steph signed a 4-year deal last year? I think he has 2 more years left on it. So you think you're going to rebuild something in time for Steph? I know it would be almost sacrilegious to trade somebody like that, but this thing normally doesn't end the way it ends for a Peyton Manning and you ride off into the sunset, right? A lot of times it ends more like a Kobe Bryant situation, RIP, and hey, we are able to hang around, but you're not where it is. And look at LeBron right now. He's not scaring anybody. So I don't know how everybody can be available but Steph, but you feel like you'd be able to create something in time when Steph is 35, probably turning 36 this year. That's what I'm confused about. I'm looking here. This was in the Steph Curry contract. He is in year 2 of a 4-year deal. So they have Steph until they start the 2026-2027 season. That he'd be a free agent. So he'll be 37 at the end of the 2025-2026 season. So you have, including this year, you're going to try to sell enough to get something back, because they're not going to sell everyone, but I'm sure they have more of a plan. Hey, if we go him, this is what we want. If we go him, this is what we want. You have essentially 2.5 years of Steph left.
Yeah. To me, I mean, from the list that Shams gave, it sounds to me like the goal is let's get a bunch of young guys and we'll put Steph around him, and we'll hope that maybe Steph can create enough himself, and maybe like
they get rid of the young guys.
It's going to truly be in my opinion, where it seems like this is going is they're going to do a version of the 2 timeline thing, except this time it's going to be a lot younger. And the 2 timeline thing is just going to be, I think they're going to do, Trace Jackson Davis, Pajemski. They're going to keep Kuminga. They're going to try and salvage the Moody situation and throw Steph out there and just say, hey, can you teach this new generation of Warriors how to try and be a champion, or how to, whatever you can pass on, can you try and pass it on to this new generation of players? Because what's the other option? The other option is what you're saying is go down with the old ship, like trade all the young guys and bring in a Pascal Siakam and try and win another title, sneak another title in.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, if you're not winning a title with Steph Curry on your team, what are you trying to do unless you're trying to win more titles further on is more where my mind is going. Like, this is an organization that talks about being light years ahead and not just being, the whole point of the 2 timeline thing was we want to be able to succeed past Steph Curry when Steph is gone. And I think this could be with Bob Myers moving on, with Iguodala moving on, with Draymond seeming like he might not be long for this situation, Clay as well. I just think it seems like the direction this team could lead into really quickly is just shipping off Andrew Wiggins, shipping off Klay Thompson, maybe eventually next year finding a deal for Draymond since he's still got 4 years left, or 3 years after this one left, and just lean into a youth movement with Steph and see, what Steph can look like with some younger guys, and hope that, they can pick up some playoff experience and maybe some cool nuggets along the way, I guess.
This is what you do. Okay. You go out. Okay. You got to move on. Okay. You go get Pascal Siakam. All right. For whatever the Raptors want. Okay.
Probably the younger pieces.
You probably do. And here's the other thing. CP3 hurt.
Sure.
Now,
Yep.
Moses Moody, calf injury.
Yeah.
He's hurt. This is what you do. You go get Pascal Siakam. Okay. And you give him Kuminga.
Wiggins.
You give him
Team Canada.
Sure. Give him Team Canada. You go Wiggins and Kuminga, because they're going to want Kuminga.
Yeah.
That's what you do there. Okay, so you get your Pascal Siakam. Then you move Clay for a bunch of picks, whatever you think you can get back for Clay. Then you call your friends over in Sacramento. You say, hey, you want Harrison Barnes, Kevin Huerter. You get them. You give, yes.
Who
and
are we
then,
getting?
So Wiggins is already gone, right?
Yes.
So
you send him to Toronto.
Okay, so Moody is coming.
Could be 3-team trade. Who
Moody
knows?
is coming to Sacramento. Okay, Moody is coming to Sacramento.
Okay.
And you're giving Sacramento something.
So the Kings are sending off Harrison Barnes and Kevin Huerter just for Moses Moody?
No, just one of the two.
Just one of the two.
Okay.
Just one of the two. Maybe you do if you're going to bring in whoever, you ship off, I would go Kevin Huerter for Moses Moody.
Okay.
I would do that. And then you get some shooting in the building because Clay is gone now. So you bring in some more shooting.
Sure.
And then you're running out of Kevin Huerter, Steph Curry, Pascal Siakam, Draymond Green, and somebody else.
I don't like that from the Kings side. I don't want the Kings to help the Warriors succeed at all. The last thing I want is Kevin Huerter turning it on in the playoffs and being successful for the Warriors.
Well, look, I don't think that's happening.
I can't have that.
We got to go when we get back. Yeah, the curious case of what is left of the Currys and the Steph Curry Warriors. When we get back, continuing the conversation about the Kings. De'Aaron Fox, his numbers are down. But is that a good or a bad thing? Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Sunday on Sactown Sports, you get the best of both worlds. First at 9:30, Super Wild Card Weekend continues as Mike Tomlin has his Steelers back in the postseason as they face Josh Allen and the 2-seed Buffalo Bills. Then we switch to the court as the Kings road trip continues to Milwaukee as Fox and Sabonis battle Giannis and Lillard at 4. The NFL and NBA Sunday on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
It's a myth to think you don't play golf well enough to get fitted for golf clubs. The professionals at the Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio would argue that playing the game with golf clubs properly fitted to your body and swing characteristics is the best way to improve your game and have more fun on the golf course. With a professional staff of fitters, all the major brands of equipment, and cutting-edge technology featuring TrackMan, the indoor-outdoor Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio is worth a look. See for yourself. Fulton Avenue at the Cap City Freeway. Schedule your fitting at 916-808-2531. 808-2531. The 2024 Honda Civic LX sedan from Elk Grove Honda offers all the safety, reliability, performance, and great gas mileage you've come to expect from Honda for all these years. With anti-lock brakes, tire pressure monitoring system, backup camera, and Honda safety sensing package including collision mitigation braking system, you can see why a sporty, redesigned Civic from Elk Grove Honda gives you a lot for your money. We're Elk Grove Honda in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 at Elk Grove Boulevard.
I gotta get an Elk Grove Honda.
Jerry and Kenny here from Bell Brothers. And if you've even thought of replacing your old, outdated, inefficient windows, now is the time to take action.
Right now at Bell Brothers, when you buy one window, you'll get the second one for 30% off. That's right. Buy one, get the second one 30% off.
That's real savings, up to $6,000. You have to buy at least 4 windows to qualify, and you can't mix windows and doors. But beyond that, every second window is 30% off.
For example, when you buy 10 windows, you will get 5 windows at 30% off. We also have 0% interest financing available for qualified buyers. Call for details.
To take advantage of our buy one, get one 30% off sale, call Bell Brothers now at 916-444-1234 or find us online at thenosurpriseguys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
Sacramento's premier music festival, Country in the Park, is back. 2 big ol' nights, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Walker Hayes, and more. 2-day GA tickets are on sale now starting at $85 or upgrade your experience with VIP or pit passes. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPfest.com. Brought to you by Bonnie Plumbing, Electric Heating and Air.
Contact Tax Relief Helpers for details and restrictions. Attention anyone that owes money to the IRS. The IRS has restarted aggressive enforcement actions against taxpayers who owe back taxes that were temporarily suspended for COVID. If you owe $10,000 or more, you must hear this because now is the time to clear your IRS tax debt. A special toll-free number has been established so you can stop penalty fees, avoid liens, levies, and other hostile measures by the IRS. Call Tax Relief Helpers right now at 800-817-7142. Tax Relief Helpers will provide you with the maximum protection afforded by law.
I got behind on my taxes and owed $48,000. I didn't know what to do. I called and they got my bill lowered to just $3,500.
I owed $87,000 in taxes and it was scary. I got the amount I owed down to just $3,500. I saved $83,500.
If you owe money to the IRS, don't wait another day. Call 800-817-7142 right now before the IRS enforces liens, levies, and other aggressive measures. The call and consult are absolutely free. Call now. Call 800-817-7142. 800-817-7142. 800-817-7142.
Big savings are back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? We have options for everyone. Plus, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make for lower payments. It's no wonder Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at FolsomLakeHonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not.
Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda. Yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Guys, want to lose weight, improve your performance, and increase your drive? Revive Men's Health can help you make it happen with our new cutting-edge weight loss medications like your favorite athletes and celebrities use. They're affordable and available now. And since your testosterone level has a direct impact on your weight and fitness, get a free T-check and free exam. Book your appointment today at Revive Sacramento. We know we can help you. Call 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Live and local, it's Stiles and Watkins. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sactown Sports app.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking up to 2 p.m. We have some great news if you are a Niners fan. Emil Fregoso, always working hard, busts into the studio and says Eric Armstead practicing for the first time since December, hasn't played since the Eagles game, since the Eagles were a threat. That's the last time Eric Armstead has played, and he is practicing for the first time. Since then, great news for Niner fans, and we were having some back and forth about the threats for the Niners. I don't know, Chris. I'm worried about – actually, if you're a Niner fan, you should feel really good because that Rams hype train it's getting a little too
much,
a little too hot for me.
Yeah.
I would feel disrespected if I were the Detroit Lions. Whenever you are a home team, and look, the reason they're here is because the Lions have tricked off many a game, and they cannot defend. I know that. I know the X's and O's of it.
Yeah.
But when you hear everybody saying, I got Rams, the Lions darn near don't even deserve to be there, that's when things can flip. And honestly, if you are, I heard Jared Goff speak yesterday about, Jared Goff just says great things in any community that he's in. Shout out Cal Berkeley. Shout out Cal Berkeley. Shout out Jared Goff. So I'm to the point now. Now, I think it would be good for the Niners because I do think the Rams and the Cowboys' biggest threat to the Niners. But I think there's a little bit. How often do the dark horse teams actually win the whole thing? The hot, sexy name. If this was the dark horse Super Bowl, it would be Bills, and I know they're the 2 seed, but it's a weird 2 seed.
Yeah.
It would be the Bills versus the Rams.
Yep.
And there's no way that's going to happen.
No, yeah, I mean the Rams. I'm right there with you. Like, there's just
too much.
There's way too much. Almost to the point where I don't know if I've heard anyone actually say that they're picking the Lions, and it's. I just don't think enough people are accounting for the fact that this is a franchise. We just went through it last year. They are hungry.
You got Dan Campbell.
Playoffs. You got Dan Campbell
with that bulletin board material.
Exactly. And you've got that again. That crowd is going to be crazy. They have not had a playoff game, and I think it's literally been my entire lifetime the Lions haven't had a home playoff game. So they're going to be, the roof is going to be set on fire at that place. And you got Matt Stafford coming back as well. There's going to be crazy emotion going into that game. I don't know. Like, I definitely can see the Lions are a really good offense. I feel like people are discounting how many weapons they have. I mean, they've got a two-headed running back machine in Montgomery and Gibbs. They've got Amon-Ra St. Brown. Haven't we seen anything on if Sam Laporta? Last I saw, they were hoping that he could possibly.
I think today's the day where you start to figure out, hey, is this thing gonna happen or not? But yeah, we'll get an update
and
on
we can't
that.
forget too, the Rams are still a very, very young, inexperienced team. This is not like the Tampa Bay Bucks who have a ton of holdovers left from their Super Bowl days. This is pretty much a brand new Rams squad that doesn't have much of any playoff experience. And so, yeah, I still kind of feel like people are giving a little bit too much respect to the Rams, who did get hot to end the season.
Super Bowl quarterback, Super Bowl winning quarterback.
Yeah, but let's how quickly we are to change the tune on how we feel about a guy just for winning a Super Bowl. I mean, I still think Matthew Stafford is a high variance quarterback. Like, he can have his good days, and under Sean McVay, you're gonna probably be put in a lot more good situations than tough ones. But Matthew Stafford's also somebody who has a history of letting that thing fly at the worst moment.
Gunslinger.
So I'm a little bit hesitant to just go out there and say Matthew Stafford's going to walk into his former place of employment and just, tear apart the city of Detroit's hearts. Like, I'm going to have to see it before I fully believe it.
Well, you got Sean McVay, who, as
Great
much as we
coach.
talk
Fantastic.
about Kyle Shanahan and people try to take that away from Brock Purdy, you got Sean McVay, and that helps the situation too. And you have Dan Campbell, who, this whole Antonio Pierce thing has really become fascinating to me because of the rah-rah versus X's and O's coach, right?
Yeah.
And I think Mike Tomlin would be rah-rah.
Sure.
I think Dan Campbell would be rah-rah. And dare I say, it almost reminds me of a coach's version of a game manager versus game changer.
Totally.
And I feel like when you say this guy's rah-rah, that's alluding to that guy not knowing X's and O's. And I've heard Antonio Pierce talk about, hey, I know this game. I played this game at a high level. And I think that might be part of this too. You have bite your kneecaps rah-rah guy versus I remember what cereal I had when I was 8 years old and Sean McVay. And I think that's part of why. No, he always says some stuff like that.
He does.
That's part of why I think people are believing in
Doesn't he? He has like the LeBron memory thing, doesn't he? Where it's like, I can tell you what we did on 3rd and 7.
What was that?
2018.
Next question. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was in 1999. We actually ran a X-Flat Spider 2-2. Yeah, no, that was a great run there. Great run. Yeah,
Sean, you were 13 years old when that happened.
Great play. I've always been a student of the game. So I do think that's part of this as well. Those kind of rah-rah quarterbacks getting their just due. And maybe some of it is legit. And we'll see if he gets out coach Dan Campbell does, and some of those decisions to go for it, that's rah-rah. Sure. I'm going to go for it twice. What you really want is somebody who's kind of in the middle, right? Sure. I would say John Harbaugh is more X's and O's, but leaks into that rah-rah too because he's a Harbaugh. So you want a little bit of both, but I've been seeing that a lot with the Raiders. Oh, Antonio Pierce is just a rah-rah guy, as if he doesn't know.
But I think
the X's and O's.
I think football allows for that to be the case because of how the coordinators work. Like in basketball, you can't just be Penny Hardaway and coach in the NBA. Right. Because
but what's their job then? Just rah-rah?
No, I mean, I'm sure that they're involved a little bit, but for the most part, the coordinators are really the coaches. Like you know, like for the Lions, you're going to hear about Ben Johnson probably more than you're going to end up hearing about Dan Campbell. Or for the defense, I mean, if the reason why the Lions do lose to the Rams is because the Rams just go nuclear on the offensive side, I don't think people are going to blame Dan Campbell. They're going to talk about how terrible Aaron Glenn's defense has been for the past 2 years and why, you know, I don't think Dan Campbell's going to lose his job. It's going to be Aaron Glenn. All the blame's going to go there. So in the NFL, you're just kind of allowed as the head coach to be more like the CEO, more like the overseer to make sure everything's going on. And if things aren't going right, that's where you're ideally supposed to step in. But you, of course, you have other coaches like McVay and like Shanahan who just take the head coaching job and say, this means I'm in charge of everything that goes on here. And I don't know if there's necessarily a bad approach. I think it just kind of depends on who the guy is who's in charge and how capable they are of managing multiple things. Because you see, you know, a guy
Pete
like
Carroll.
Bill Belichick
Pete Carroll, rah-rah.
Yeah.
Bill Belichick, X's and O's.
But Bill Belichick's also in charge of the player personnel as well. Like, you can step too far, and I think it's about staying in your lane and understanding. Yeah, get your guys ready.
Another rah-rah guy who people are cold on now, Nick Sirianni.
Oh, yeah.
But that's exactly the point that Chris Watkins was making, which is if you hire great coordinators, it can work out great. And then when you have to replace those great coordinators, look at what happened to the Eagles.
Right, because now Sirianni is, well, what do you want me to do here?
How incredible is Man Campbell going to look when he has to replace Ben Johnson this
Not
offseason?
great. I'm telling you, not great.
Meanwhile, Shanahan sifts through coordinators every 2 years, and the thing stays afloat.
Yeah, and then you have a Brandon Staley who's
I'm telling you, though, at some
kind of
point,
neither.
At some point, the Niners defensive coordinator carousel is going to come back and bite them.
Well, it almost, it still could. It still could this season.
Yeah.
Right, it still could.
Or just carousel in general. I mean, with the Adam Peters stuff. Like, at some point, the Niners carousel is gonna
and let's not forget,
and it's not their fault, but it's gonna come back and bite.
We just talked about the Warriors. It almost just kind of happened. They lost Mike Brown. That was their defensive coordinator, right? So they lost.
And they lost Luke Walton too. I mean, we just keep on taking their assistants.
Just stop that. You know, where would you put this guy before we get to a break? Sean Payton, is he rah-rah?
No,
he's X and O's.
Okay, so he's
D-bag for sure.
Yeah.
Sorry. That's
Go
what Sean
ahead,
Payton
Kyle.
is.
I want to end on that, but when Sean Payton first got to the Saints, he had this innovative offense built on. Like, I know it's normal now for like 2.5 second offenses and quick completions and trying to get to 75%. That wasn't normal when Sean Payton first got to New Orleans, and he got the perfect quarterback in Drew Brees to run that offense.
There you
Sean
go.
Payton is definitely X's and O's guy.
And Drew Brees, is he elite? Game manager? I don't know. I mean,
we left that conversation in 2016.
Well, we also brought it back in 2023, and you know Cam Newton is going to coin those terms. I'm just waiting for him to say, hey, you cannot say game manager without mentioning Cam Newton and my top hat. Got to get to a break. When we get back, continuing the conversation about the Kings, who were the team of the year. Chris wants to ask if my thoughts have changed about the beam. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sactown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sactown Sports app.
So here's a fact. 85% of the population will suffer from foot pain in their lifetime. That's almost everyone. So you'd think there'd be plenty of healthy long-term remedies, but there just aren't. Right? Hi, I'm Dan from the Good Feet store. You know, people come in all the time sharing the same frustrating story. Bought this, tried that, been there, done whatever, all different kinds of things, but all with a similar result. Nothing. A discouraging and endless cycle of disappointment. If this rings a bell, don't despair. There is hope. If you think you've tried everything, you probably haven't tried Good Feet arch supports from the Good Feet store. They're designed to relieve, even eliminate, the pain commonly caused by certain foot conditions like plantar fasciitis, bunions, flat feet, and others. Plus, provide better balance and increased comfort. See what we can do for you with a free arch support fitting. Just stop in or schedule an appointment. With over 200 stores, there's likely one in your neck of the woods. Find yours at goodfeet.com.
Knee, foot, or back pain? Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sactown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
Folsom Lake Ford has trucks. The F-150s are here. Explorers, Expeditions, and a huge selection of Broncos and Bronco Sports. They're in stock now at Folsom Lake Ford. Shop Folsom Lake Ford, your truck headquarters, right here in Sacramento for your favorite Ford models at good, fair prices. Short on cash? Buy any new Ford with zero down. Save big with low interest finance rates. Plus, Folsom Lake Ford is paying top dollar for all trades. We want your vehicle regardless of mileage or condition. This could be the best time to buy a new Ford. Check out the huge inventory online at FolsomLakeFord.com or stop by the dealership and see the most recent arrivals. Looking for something special? Give them a call and tell them Doug Christie sent you. Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall, your trusted dealer, my trusted dealer for over 30 years. FolsomLakeFord.com.
Zero down with approved credit.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Even easier than choosing Charles Barkley in a pickup game.
We'll take Barkley.
Ha! First pick. Sorry, kids. Yep, even easier than that. With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, is it even a decision?
Okay, here's the plan. Pass me the ball every time.
This is banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
Capital Casino has been serving the greater Sacramento area in the same convenient downtown location for over 20 years, with plenty of close-by, well-lit parking monitored by security staff and offering the most variety of table games in the region in a safe and friendly environment. Best food, best service, and the best action. That's Capital Casino. For more information on tournaments and gaming, check out their website at capital-casino.com. And please remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
The world has changed a lot these last few years. You can do pretty much anything from your home, including order your new Honda from Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Check out our great selection at StocktonHonda.com or come in today and get pre-approved all in the blink of an eye. Stockton Honda makes buying a car simple and stress-free.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Get $3 off coupons at Big O Tires and O'Reilly Auto Parts stores. Visit sportsexpos.com for locations, seminars, and show info. Your life outdoors at the International Sportsman's Expo, January 18th at Cal Expo.
Sacramento has a new tag team in the midday. It's Stiles and Watkins on Sactown Sports.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. Kings have been named the team of the year. So as a Kings fan growing up, Chris, was last season one of the best seasons of your life?
Yes, by far, not even close. I mean, one of, definitely. I mean, my first basketball memory is, sadly enough, I think it is that Big Shot Bob shot, and I mean, that was really the closest the Kings got to being in the NBA Finals was that 2001 series, and yeah, I mean, after that there was heartbreak. I mean, there was C-Webb getting hurt in the playoffs. There was elimination to the Timberwolves in the early 2000s, and then 2006 there was they were kind of at the end of the run. Kevin Martin hit that game winner at I think that was game 3 for them to win one game in the Spurs series in 2006, and then 16 years of just garbage basketball. I mean, we saw, I know we had Bryce Simon the other day of the Pistons, but we here in Sacramento saw, what was it, a 17 win season or something like that at one point. Sacramento fans have been through the ringer. So to kind of have last year be as fun as it was, as incredible, as successful as it was, the fact that 48 wins might not usually get you a 3 seed, but the fact that the Kings were able to kind of have home court advantage in the playoffs, it was great to have a game 7 at home, even though the result didn't go the way it was. Those first 2 playoff games, incredible. Just that series was incredible. Absolutely. Last year, in my lifetime, at least, or my Kings fandom, definitely was the best and most fun season I even could have imagined. Forget like best season we've had. I couldn't imagine a season being more fun than the fun that we all had last year.
And it wasn't just you. Kings fans all around the globe loved the beam that also helped the Kings win this award. The NBA, this is from Sportico, the NBA has awarded the Sacramento Kings with the NBA Team of the Year award and the NBA Team Innovation Award for their achievements across team business operations. Basically the beam. That's the innovation. That's the beam right there.
Poor Denver Nuggets, man. They're like, yo, we won the championship.
Right. Is that I would wonder how that normally goes. This year the Kings had, this past season, had the highest season ticket renewal campaign in franchise history.
There you go.
Ranked number 2 among all NBA teams in ticket revenue growth. I wonder who that number 1 team is.
Interesting, yeah.
Set a team record for digital and content partnership revenue.
Okay.
Ranked 2nd in partnership revenue growth league-wide.
Wow.
And a 35% increase in merchandise sales.
Wow. That's great. I mean, but that's what success does, and it's crazy. Like, I mean, and that's just 1 year of success too. I mean, when you just think about from the business side, how much money playoffs, just making the playoffs gives your organization. I mean, that's, it's kind of scary because, some owners you could say are just okay. We all want to say we're all trying to win the championship, but some owners are just okay with making the playoffs because you get that revenue split. You get to, have a nice chunk of change, and you get success, and you get the merchandise and all that stuff. But we're just at the beginning of it. And I think that's really exciting to see just how Golden One Center can expand from the Kings making the playoffs. I mean, even small things this year I've noticed, like the pyrotechnics budget went up, every single intro, there's fire, there's fireworks. Right. Those kind of things, like you can get a new big screen somewhere. There's so many things that can come with this team being successful, not just this year, but for the next 4 or 5 years. And man, if these guys can get over the hump and really be in, title contention, just what it can do for this team and for this city, it's really, really exciting to think about how, again, we're just at the beginning of this thing. So they definitely deserve to be team of the year. I mean, again, if I'm the Nuggets, I definitely have a little bit of a quarrel with that, but the innovation thing to me is the really, I know for a fact that's really the thing that the organization is most proud about, because even when they were bad, even when they were in Sleep Train Arena, Vivek has always tried to be at the forefront of innovation and trying to do new things and just really trying to be unique. And I think last year with the beam and again, all the things that came with the fun of success, the merchandise sales, all that stuff, they just knocked it out the park. And it's definitely going to be something that I think a lot of organizations in general in sports are going to look at and say, how can we do a version of what the Kings did last year with the beam, with the community being all in on it and things like that. I think this is just the beginning of teams kind of getting, I I don't want to use the word you use, shtick, but whatever you want to call the beam.
No.
I definitely think it's just kind of the start of teams understanding that you can really do something special in your community with your franchise.
This is also from Sportico. Per our NBA valuations, the Sacramento Kings' enthusiastic fan base pushed overall revenue into the top 12 in the league, while the club's
small market.
Yeah, there you go. Pascal, while the club's net promoter score, which measures customer loyalty, finished in the top 5 in the NBA.
Yeah.
You love to see
that's
it.
Sacramento right there. You pair that number with, like you said, I think you said the highest return rate of season ticket holders. I mean, that's what this city's been telling Vivek in that organization for years, man. It's like, if you build a successful product or a product that's worth watching, the city will come out and support. And they definitely did their part. I mean, Golden One Center is one of, if not the best basketball environments in sports. And, the fans are a huge part of that. And here's hoping that Vivek and the rest of the organization can continue to put a good product out there, because I think we're seeing right now the city's not going to be okay with being one of those teams that I just described, one of those ownership groups that's just in the playoffs to say we're in the playoffs. Clearly, I mean, we've had 1 year of success, and we've spent a majority of our time together talking about how this team can get better. So hopefully there's a lot more years of that, and hopefully a lot more than just one playoff round too.
Got to get to a break. When we get back, Kevin Huerter goes down. Looking for that injury update. Don't have that yet, but assuming he's not able to play, what should the Kings do about that starting spot? Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The Sacramento Kings play here.
He's got the triple. Sacramento takes the lead. Outstanding ball movement by Sacramento.
Every triple, every jam, every Kings win.
Sabonis with the jam over the Joker. He's got the three-point shot.
Get your Kings fix all season long.
Right here on your home of the Sacramento Kings.
Here's a steal by Fox, the breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
What if I told you there was a way to step into another gear for your brain and be much sharper, more focused, and improve your memory to a level that you could only dream about, and notice these results in 30 minutes? Hard to believe? Neuroscientists are calling this new brain discovery the biggest advancement in brain science to date. It's called Limitless, the brain pill of the future. Take it, and within 30 minutes, you'll transport your mind to a new level of focus and clarity you would have never thought possible.
I took Limitless, and it started working in minutes. All of a sudden, it felt like a dark cloud had been lifted up right before my eyes. I have a mental clarity I've never felt before.
Biz execs, athletes, teachers, and students are calling Limitless a secret weapon for the brain. You have nothing to lose, so call now and find out how to get a free bottle today.
Find out how to get a free bottle of Limitless. Call 800-926-7413. That's 800-926-7413. Free bottles for limited time, so call now. 800-926-7413. 800-926-7413.
For a precision-crafted performance, the decision is easy. A new Acura from Acura of Stockton. Get the driving experience you've been waiting for in a new Acura. Get the best selection and customer service you deserve from Acura of Stockton. Shop in person or use our online express store at AcuraofStockton.com. Acura of Stockton will buy your trade, even if you don't buy from us. Don't settle for less than precision-crafted performance of a new Acura from Acura of Stockton and AcuraofStockton.com.
Have you Googled yourself lately? Are there negative posts from an ex-employee or from a former client? Maybe an outdated news article or sensitive personal information about your family? Search engines don't always get it right. For right or wrong, it's your reputation on the line. That's where Reputation Defender by Norton comes in. One of the most trusted names in online reputation repair, Reputation Defender has been fixing people's search results for over 15 years. Their cutting-edge approaches help you to wipe away unwanted information in your search results. They also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, helping you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. Take control with Reputation Defender. You can start by getting your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 to speak to an expert. That's 800-401-6681.
Carmichael Dave here for my good friends at American Energy Heating and Air. Right now, American Energy offering $0 HVAC diagnostics. That's normally $99 for nothing. Let the American Energy team test your system, connections, and all the moving parts of your system to ensure it's functioning properly. Let me say that again. $0 to get your HVAC diagnostic-ted. That's not even a word. That's normally $100. Making the uncomfortable comfortable. That's what American Energy does. That's what they've done since 1981. Been serving the greater Sacramento area since then. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. Call today to schedule your appointment at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990. Do it before January 31st or go to AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Contact Tax Relief Helpers for details and restrictions. Attention anyone that owes money to the IRS. The IRS has restarted aggressive enforcement actions against taxpayers who owe back taxes that were temporarily suspended for COVID. If you owe $10,000 or more, you must hear this because now is the time to clear your IRS tax debt. A special toll-free number has been established so you can stop penalty fees, avoid liens, levies, and other hostile measures by the IRS. Call Tax Relief Helpers right now at 800-817-7142. Tax Relief Helpers will provide you with the maximum protection afforded by law.
I got behind on my taxes and owed $48,000. I didn't know what to do. I called and they got my bill lowered to just $3,500.
I owed $87,000 in taxes and it was scary. I got the amount I owed down to just $3,500. I saved $83,500.
If you owe money to the IRS, don't wait another day. Call 800-817-7142 right now before the IRS enforces liens, levies, and other aggressive measures. The call and consult are absolutely free. Call now. Call 800-817-7142. 800-817-7142. 800-817-7142.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
No look, Bibby to Weber down the lane, flying jam. There's your play of the night right there. It's inside is Sabonis, a two-hand rip. A brilliant pass from De'Aaron Fox.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Sactown Sports.
Live and local, it's Stiles and Watkins. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sactown Sports app.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports. Taking you up to 2 p.m., the bad boys of the midday. All guests and callers join us from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. 916.
That's why I'm the bad boy of media.
916-339-1140 if you want to be a part of the conversation. So Kevin Huerter goes down last night within the first 5 seconds, if that. Does not return to the game, which I thought was a little bit surprising. You just never know with ankle sprains, right? And I actually didn't even see from the view that I had, one of the other Kings, I don't know, it was a group of Harrison Barnes and all of them together. I know Kevin Huerter rolled it. I couldn't tell if he went in or out with the roll. Yeah. I'm assuming it was the normal outer roll. I have a buddy back in the day, he did the inner. He said, that's terrible.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell. I'm just assuming it's the normal outer roll. And let's just assume, this is a guy in Kevin Huerter who had just got back into the starting lineup. Mm-hmm. So there might've been a question mark. Anyway, we never know because he didn't play. So assuming that he can't go, you've seen Chris Duarte. You've brought Kevin Huerter back in the lineup. Who are you running out there in Philly tomorrow night? Because that would be a situation where you might want to go Kevin Huerter because it's national televised. All right, Kevin has been in this situation before. Let's just go what we know. If Kevin can't go, is it now just the second version of that? Let's go with Chris Duarte because we know more of that.
I could say yes, and I think in my heart I want to say yes, but let's have some fun because I was thinking about this yesterday.
Okay.
What do you think about, because of the style of play in which he plays, what do you think about Keegan Murray as a two guard? In a just really big lineup of De'Aaron, Keegan, HB, and then you throw Trey Lyles into the starting lineup instead of trying to do this ring around the rosy of, okay, we're going to play Chris Duarte, but we're probably not going to like what we get from Duarte, so we're only going to play Duarte 10 minutes, the 13 minutes that he's in the first rotation and then in the second half rotation as well. that just doesn't seem productive to me. I don't know. Like if Kevin's out and you already are in a position where, maybe it's time to get a little weird. And, yesterday you asked, can you put Malik and Trey Lyles in the starting lineup? Probably not, because the bench needs at the very least one of them. Well, you can keep Malik off the bench and, you then also possibly eliminate a problem that's been really big for this Kings team, and that is big teams with size and length, which Philly definitely categorizes as one of those teams. I don't know, because Keegan, he's already somebody who's guarding other teams' best guards or forwards. But if you're not going to put Duarte out there, I would think you're probably going to put Keegan on the other team's opposing guard. And then offensively, I mean, yes, he's not a traditional guard in the sense of he's not going to have the ball in his hands. You really don't want him initiating offense unless it's him in a Sabonis pick and roll. But for the most part in that lineup anyway, it's going to be De'Aaron and Domas with the ball in his hands. So I don't think it's the craziest thing. And if we want to get weird, I feel like there's worse things you can do than maybe throwing out that big lineup.
If De'Aaron is going to guard Tyrese anyway, they're running Kelly Oubre at the 2.
Oh boy.
So they're running Kelly Oubre at the 2. They got Nicholas Batum, and then they got Tobias Harris.
That's where Nicholas Batum is these days.
That's who he played for.
Yes. I definitely would have.
Wasn't he in the Harden trade? That was the last time I heard about him.
Probably. Yeah, that makes sense. So you have Keegan checking Kelly, and I would say Kelly Oubre's had a bit of a resurgence this season, but he's had the resurgence in that 3A, 3B role, right? So I don't mind Keegan on Kelly Oubre at all. And then after that, we know we're all just praying about the Joel Embiid situation. Yeah. So you would have Sabonis on Embiid.
Yep.
Okay. And then you would also have Harrison Barnes on Tobias Harris.
Yep.
Fine. Fair enough. And then, you would have
Batum's a little clunkier.
Trey Lyles on. Yeah. Or maybe you go Harrison Barnes on Batum. Go Trey Lyles on Tobias Harris.
That's the beauty of that lineup, though, is you can do whatever you want. I think you could put, you could do worse things than having HB on Oubre and having Keegan on Tobias Harris. I think that there's a lot of versatility with that lineup. I don't know if Mike Brown would ever actually do it, but just kind of the style of play in which Keegan plays, I don't think it would be the craziest thing to say, hey, we want you to kind of just play that Kevin Huerter role where we're not really asking you to put the ball on the deck as much, though it's been really good to see Keegan take those 2-point attempts as they come. Just really have Keegan fly around and shoot threes.
Yeah, I think that could definitely work. Do I think they would do it?
Probably
not.
No. Like I said,
no.
Yeah.
It's not
probably going to be Duarte.
It's going to be Duarte, but in this, we can have some fun here and see if anything else makes sense. I like Trey Lyles right there. I think that a lot of people switch anyway, so Keegan is going to have to guard Tyrese anyway.
Probably.
Right? And a lot of people, I think that is the most versatile lineup, maybe offensively and maybe not defensively, but you need something offensively. You can't have team all clamps and nobody can make a shot. So I think that would definitely work. Also looking at the way they're playing JTA so much, you never know. There's not going to happen.
You sure don't.
You keep running JTA out there. Now,
who would have thought he would have played as much as he played the other day?
Not me.
Just anyone but Malik Monk.
Anyone but Malik Monk. And, that's somebody and Coach Mike Brown who's sticking to his guns. Are you completely against? So earlier on the show, when we talked about our Sack Chat power user, Beamer, Beams, or Beamly, it sounded like you weren't against Alex Len in the starting lineup per se, or you just weren't against two bigs, but you would rather that two bigs be Trey Lyles.
Yeah, I mean,
but that's a small ball lineup, though. It's a two bigs. Oh, it's a random two bigs small ball lineup.
I guess. I mean, if you would say the Kings normally run a small ball lineup, then I guess I would say that it's it's a little bit bigger, but yeah, I mean, I guess it doesn't become you have two bigs out there. Like if you have HB out there,
it's the same.
It's still probably a small ball lineup in which and if anything, I think you're more traditional with Trey at the 4 because Trey to me is a little bit more of your Paul Millsap-y.
No, he is, but we've talked about, and we've seen Trey Lyles be the backup center at some point in time.
Yeah.
Harrison Barnes would never be that. That's the only reason I say more of a small ball too big lineup. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I'm about as opposed to Alex being in the starting lineup as you can be. It's just, I will acknowledge that there's some lineups that or some matchups that make a little bit of sense. Like even tonight, I guess you could argue like Donis Sabonis guarding Joel Embiid does not excite me. It doesn't make me feel like Joel is going to have a tough time. And at least you could argue, throw Alex out there, even if he doesn't do well, foul him, make it hard for him.
Just go back to the original game plan.
And then you go back to the original game plan. So there's at least a logic for it. But at the end of the day, I probably don't see Alex Len in the starting lineup changing the results much.
Yeah. But the thing about Alex, the reason I wouldn't do that against McGee is because you just don't know what he's going to do offensively. He was trying to cook last night.
No, thanks.
And it was a traveling call.
Thanks.
That's one way to describe it.
He was trying to do something. 916-339-1140. Let's get out to TC, who wants to be a part of the conversation. What's up, TC? You're on Stiles and Watkins. You know what it is. What you got for us?
Yes, sir. Stiles Watkins, what's going on?
Not too much. What you got?
Man, just tapping in right now, man. So check it out. It's a few things. I'm kind of in. Well, not really kind of in. I'm kind of in on the whole Alex Len in the starting lineup because I kind of like that situation. The only thing is you got to think about is the stretch four situation with Sabonis bumping down to the 4 and those guys trying to guard the wings and the stretch fours. But I don't know. I think it'll work out, but I'm not opposed to it. And as far as the Siakam BS, bro, I'm over that dude, bro. Like, let him go wherever he's going. Like, unless Missouri want to give us a super deal, then yeah. But then when I start thinking about the numbers and signing him to like a $40, $50 million contract when he's already, 30 right now? Do we really want to be paying this dude like 32, 33 years old, like $50 million a year? We're capped out. Yep. We might not bring Monk back. Like, I'm out on Siakam. Like, the deal to me is like Kuzma or like a move like Dorian Finney-Smith and like making multiple moves.
Yep.
Like as far as Siakam, bro, I'm out. I'm out on Siakam. Me personally, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm right there with
Thanks
you,
for the call, TC. I think we're all out at this point in time. And if you are just now checking in, thanks for checking in. If you've been listening, thanks for rocking with us. Sam Amick of The Athletic was on the morning show with Jason Ross and said that it was not about the market size, but there was something within the makeup of the Kings that didn't excite him. And Chris and I have guessed that it's the fact that you already have two legit scorers and two guys that have the ball in their hands a lot. And the big three, it's hard to make a big three work.
Yeah.
Okay. And you really need three unique pieces. Okay. In Golden State, you had Steph, point guard, and hybrid point guard, if you will. He runs around a lot. Klay Thompson, straight up shooter.
Yeah.
Okay. Draymond
but
Green.
Defended on the other end.
But defend on the other end, facilitator. Then when they had KD, if you want to, I guess, bump Klay out of there, you still had Draymond doing his thing. You had Steph and KD just an ultimate bucket along four. In the Heat, Miami, okay, you had the shooting guard with Dwayne Wade. You had the forward and Chris Bosh, who was cool chilling.
Yeah.
Somebody also has to be cool chilling.
That's the biggest part.
And then you had LeBron, who was just the do-it-all, the real Swiss Army knife in LeBron. So these big threes, there's a reason a lot of times they don't work unless it's constructed organically.
Yes.
You have.
I mean, look at Phoenix right now.
Look at Phoenix. It's a complete mess. And then you have a organic, and I don't know if people would even call it a big three, with Jokic, Jamal Murray, and I guess I don't know if we're putting
pick whichever one
whoever you want that
Porter
third
Jr.
to be,
Gordon,
but they all do different things. Now, when you get to the Clippers, they have two guys that do similar things in Kawhi and Paul George, but they're just so good that it just doesn't matter.
Right.
If they end up making it work and figuring it out, which they have not done yet. So this big three thing, it's easy to say you'll figure it out, but a lot of times they don't, or a lot of times you might underachieve. So I'm out on Pascal.
Yeah.
I'm out.
No, I mean, you're right. It requires a large amount of sacrifice from all the parties involved. And I think, funny enough, I think that if Pascal were to come to the Kings, the situation that it would be most similar to is in a weird way that Heedle's situation where, like you said, Chris Bosh had to take a major step back and just really say, look, I can do all of these things, but my role really is to stretch the floor, get rebounds, and defend big men and be the only big out there. And I think if you're looking at how Siakam's talking right now, if I had to guess, I would say Sabonis is probably going to have to be the one that would take that back seat.
Yes.
He's kind of the most passive anyway, especially when it comes to just him being a great facilitator. I would imagine his scoring load would probably take a step back.
And he'd be cool with it.
He'd be cool with it. He'd be fine. But then again, it also starts to bring up, I mean, people are already upset with Sabonis not being aggressive enough in the playoffs and not imprinting himself enough in big game situations or against the best opponents. Well, if you throw Siakam in there, then you're going to see Sabonis be super passive, and it's going to also be, it's just a big adjustment period. So I think it would take the most amount of role settling if Pascal comes to the Kings. And that's why I don't think that it's a really good in-season move. I think it would just require too much of a shakeup, and really it would take this team, to me, it'd probably have to start not from square one, but it would have to be pretty close to resetting the entire offense to make Pascal fit.
Stiles and Watkins, got to get to a break. When we get back, continue the conversation about all-stars and Sasha Vezenkov. Why can't he get off the bench? Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Cox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Guys, want to lose weight, improve your performance, and increase your drive? Revive Men's Health Sacramento can help you address the root causes of weight gain, low energy, poor drive, and performance issues. And since your testosterone level has a direct impact on your weight and fitness, we'll give you a free T-check and free exam at Revive Sacramento. Imagine upping your game, losing weight, and getting in shape all at once. Revive can help you make it happen with our new cutting-edge weight loss medications like your favorite athletes and celebrities use. They're affordable and available now. Weight gain and low T are treatable conditions. We know we can help you. Take that first step and book today. You're only one step away from getting in the best shape of your life. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Sacramento has a new tag team in the midday. It's Stiles and Watkins on Sactown Sports.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. We talked a little bit of All-Star. We got more to talk about, but we see you on the text line. We're also curious from the 916 on the Folsom Lake Honda text line. All guests and callers join us from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop, 916-339-1140. Yeah, there was one guy, right? Was that correct? One guy who didn't play last night?
Let me double check, but I believe so.
We know it's just a matter of who else didn't play because Sasha did not play.
Yes.
It's just a matter of was he the only person?
Pretty sure I saw a Colby Jones sighting.
Colby Jones got in early.
Yeah.
Colby Jones was doing some things. And man, he is a dog on defense. I love watching him play defense.
There's something there. He's not bad.
Thank you very much, Kyle. Really yes, there's definitely something there. And Sasha
Vezenkov, only one DNP-CD.
And yes, Davion Mitchell got the 5.
Yep.
So
JaVale got 5.
Yep. So they even got the cleanup crew, and Sasha Vezenkov.
Only player on both teams that didn't get in.
That's not great.
It's not great.
Do you think something's going on? He's 29. Can expectations and reality and we talk about we were talking about the transfer portal earlier and how you could back in the day you could promise someone a bunch of things and they're probably going to end up being too lazy or not wanting to sit out that year, and they're going to stay and they're going to pout. But we're going to figure out what happens once you get here. And is there a situation or is there a reality where Sasha Vezenkov, things aren't working out and there could be, I don't want to say a rift, but I guess that's really the only thing to say.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It feels, I don't want to say it feels personal, but it does feel like maybe Sasha's style of play is just not Mike Brown's cup of tea, because this is getting to the point now where it's like, when you're searching the other day in Detroit, you don't even look Sasha's way. And then last night in a blowout, to me, if you're not getting in a blowout situation, that's when, I don't know if a message is being sent, but you're not playing, because we saw this with Davion Mitchell too. Yeah. Remember Davion, when he got benched for Keon Ellis, it was, we're not seeing Davion at all. Like even in these games where Jordan Ford, Colby Jones are checking in, Davion's not one of those guys.
They're signing dudes to put them in the game. Instead, they're signing two-way deals on the bench.
10
and
days.
Getting 10 days on the bench and getting these dudes. Juan Toscano Anderson was not on, was released, was waived, and came back and has played more minutes than Sasha Vezenkov. And the 916, the actual text was just curious, is Sasha in the doghouse with coach? Hasn't gotten any play in the last 2 games, which were blowouts. Yeah, it has to be something like that.
Well, and it's tough too, because what's the game script that's going to lead to Sasha being the one that Mike Brown turns to? Like if they're not hitting shots, ideally that would be where Sasha's going to come in, but also I could see Mike Brown saying
the rhythm,
defense too.
Yeah,
it's like,
that's true.
You might be able to, we're not hitting things, but also the problem is we're not getting stops. And again, I asked you yesterday, we have not seen Sasha Vezenkov play terrible defense. He has been, every time we have seen him, it's at least been passable. It's at least not been such a huge, clear black hole that this is where, and teams were starting to attack him a little bit, but he was holding his own for the most part. I don't know. I think that this definitely has something to do. It might be politics. It might be
something smells.
There might
something
be
stinks.
something like, they plan to play him, but they kind of need to figure out or showcase, maybe after Harrison Barnes is gone, Sasha's playing is just more available. Who knows? It to me has to be political at this point. I don't know if it's Mike Brown straight up doesn't like him. I don't know if he doesn't think he can help the team. I don't know if this has to do with, like you said, Sasha's already locked up. He's here. He's in the building. We just won't play him now. And when we really need him at the end of the year, like they did with Alex Len, that's when we'll unleash him. I don't know what's going on. I don't think there's been any indication to what's going on. But to me, I think Sasha can help this team, but at the same time, I don't feel like Sasha is going to be somebody who unlocks something in this offense unless he does really just come in and consistently knock down multiple threes every single game, which, yes, Sasha does take a lot, but if we're being honest, even when he's been super streaky because of his shot selection. He really doesn't take good shots from the perimeter. But great cutter.
But that's the question, right? And maybe the next time, if they get back from this trip, maybe the next time we're in pregame, the question is, have there been any conversations when Sasha and as I get into these pregames, right? A lot of times guys will ask a question I was going to ask, and you try to figure out how detailed you want it to be because there's only a certain amount of time. But the question I would ask Coach Mike Brown is, when Sasha gets into the game, they always say, Coach Mike Brown, we've said Sasha listens to Coach Mike Brown the most because he says if you're open, shoot it. A lot of times Sasha is open. I don't think he takes crazy shots all the time. They're just quick.
Yeah.
So has he taken it too literally? Have you had a conversation with Sasha to say, hey, maybe not so early in the shot clock, and he's still doing it?
Yeah.
What is he not doing what you're asking him to do?
Even then, I'd say he's taken a step back. And that, I think you're right. I think, when he first came in, it was Sasha's touching the ball, and it's up within half a second.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think he has been a little bit more patient. I which is weird because, again, it feels like maybe that conversation did happen, and he did listen, because there have been less, oh my gosh, Sasha's just he's been in for 3 minutes and has taken 3 threes already. We haven't really seen that even when he was playing there.
Yeah, it is bizarre what's happening. And to me, the biggest thing that I would say is an indictment on the situation is, I remember earlier on in the season when I guess Davion was in some type of doghouse, right? and he didn't get in. I said, Chris, you think Davion gets in here? The Kings were blowing out. It was a blowout either way.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, no, it's a kind of a respect thing, like Davion. Yeah, maybe not, right? And Sasha, he doesn't have that same cachet. Mm-hmm. He's still trying to. He just
needs experience.
Coach
really.
Mike Brown should be trying to put him in any situation where he feels comfortable. And on top of that, he's a shooter. So whenever he does get in, it reminds me a lot, to be honest, when you're trying to earn your way, and the only way you get into a lineup in baseball is pinch hitting. And pinch hitting, it's cold. The game is already over. My hands are freezing, and their closer is getting his work in, and now the coach is going to say, hey, you better get a hit here.
Get off the bench.
You better get a hit here, or, you're not going to play again. So Sasha's going to come in, and whenever he takes that first shot, if it doesn't go in, now you're dealing with the yips. Now you're dealing with the mental aspect. I don't know where they go from here, but it's clearly been a miss. I'm thinking about his trade value. That's where I'm at with this, because if you're not going to let a shooter get in a blowout to get that rhythm right, just in case one of your shooters are cold, what are we doing here? And even practicing defensively, what better team to practice on? One of the worst teams in the league.
Right.
All right, got to get to a break. We see you, Willie. We see you, Emmy. We'll get to you. Stiles and Watkins, got to get to a break. We're talking more of the curious case of Sasha Vezenkov and the Kings. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sactown Sports and the Sactown Sports app.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sactown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland, and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
Have you ever envisioned having $500,000 in advertising to conquer the remodel market, but felt overwhelmed at the thought of going it alone? Now you don't have to. Join Subcontractors United and share your advertising with 2 other contractors in your trade. Get $500,000 in advertising for only $1,042 a month. We are so sure this will work that we're giving away free advertising until June 2024 to qualified contractors. Visit subcontractorsunited.com today.
Hey, it's Carmichael Day for my good friends at Fire Wings with some bullet points for you to remember so you can be a professional fire wing eater. Like Wings Day Wednesday, 88-cent wings each and every Wednesday. 3 flavor lineup includes 7 classic wing flavors, 7 dry rub wing flavors, 7 fusion wing flavors. It's the perfect fast casual eating establishment for the entire family. Go to firewings.com or download the app, find a location near you, order online, earn rewards. Fire Wings, just wing it.
Sacramento's premier music festival, Country in the Park, is back. 2 big ol' nights, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Walker Hayes, and more. 2-day GA tickets are on sale now, starting at $85, or upgrade your experience with VIP or pit passes. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPfest.com. Brought to you by Bonnie Plumbing, Electric Heating and Air.
It's time to buck up Sacramento. The professional bull riders are back. PBR Sacramento Wrangler Long Live Cowboys Classic will take over downtown's Golden One Center this February 2nd through 4th. 3 huge nights of edge-of-your-seat bucking, featuring some of the biggest bulls and toughest cowboys on the planet. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster. Get your tickets for a weekend of non-stop bucking action this February 2nd through 4th.
Awesome. Hey, babe, can you check the front door? My package is here.
Yeah, on it. Hey, are we still watching our show tonight?
New episode on Prime? You bet. That reminds me, let's hit Whole Foods this afternoon. We need snack supplies.
From package deliveries to entertainment and even fresh groceries, Amazon is in front of hundreds of thousands of customers every single day. Imagine what you could do if your business had that kind of reach. It's not a dream. Right now, you can take advantage of Amazon's expansive network to benefit your business. Unlock expert insights and tap into the full potential of Amazon.
Simply text DIGITAL to 916-766-5105 now. Make the smart move. Text DIGITAL to 916-766-5105. Put the power of Amazon to work for you. Text DIGITAL, that's DIGITAL, to 916-766-5105.
I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when it happened. There was a sudden jolt and our submarine crashed on the seafloor. We were in total darkness.
That's Dr. Dejana Figueroa, a marine biologist and STEM teacher, talking about a deep sea dive she'll never forget.
It's funny, when I was a kid, I was afraid of the ocean, and there I was, 2 miles below the surface. But as a scientist, you prepare for that. Using our training and a little creativity, we fixed the sub and finished our experiments. The dive was just too important. Every dive gives us glimpses at things few people ever get to see. Glowing creatures, fiery undersea volcanoes. When we got back to the surface, I kissed the ground and called my mom, of course. But you know what? I wouldn't trade that dive for anything.
Dr. Figueroa uses her passion for STEM to discover new things and make the world a better place. She can STEM, so can you. Check out She Can STEM for more stories and inspiration. A message from the Ad Council.
Live and local, it's Stiles and Watkins. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sactown Sports app.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking up to 2 p.m. You know, we're talking about Sasha Vezenkov, and he can't get off the bench lately. But the Kings, they're playing well. So
That's
should it matter?
Yeah.
Should it matter? That's the other thing. Let's see here.
Well, if he's switching up everybody else, it's just, I think that's where the question comes from. It's like if JTA's getting in.
That's true. So the Kings have won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They've won 5 of their last 6.
Come on.
And we're talking about a guy who isn't able to get on the court, but that's also because he's a EuroLeague MVP. He is somebody that we've seen flashes from, but just not enough. We've got that Costco free sample, but we haven't really seen him actually play. And as humans, we are curious and we want to see, wow, if we have word that, you know, Coach Mike Brown even went to Europe to watch him play. You did all this, okay, just to let him ride pine. It doesn't make very much sense. 916-339-1140 is the number if you want to be a part of the conversation on the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Let's get out to Willie, who wants to be a part of the conversation. What's up, Willie? You know where you're at. Stiles and Watkins, what you got for us?
What's up, Stiles and Watkins, man? Y'all on it this morning. Look, here's the thing. It's not Sasha's fault, man. It's Brown's fault, man. Look, Brown has some kind of commitment to JB.
Barnes,
JTA. Barnes should be having a terrible game. He can score 1 point, 0 rebounds, no fouls, no nothing, and he still starts. He still gets the minutes. And then it's nowhere in the hell you can't tell me Sasha couldn't have got some of those minutes last night. Barnes is just inconsistent. Mm-hmm. He's not the same guy. And then it's just like Sakano Anderson. I like him, but here's a guy. You're going to cut him, and then you're going to bring him back on 10 days, and then you're going to have him guard the best guy. You know, I saw him put him on.
He was on Rozier. He was on Rozier last night.
I'm saying, you're going to cut the guy and then bring him back on the 10 day, and he's the guy? He's your best defender? I mean, Brown is inconsistent, just like with Alex Lynn. It's no way in the world I'm letting Alex Lynn be the backup to Sabonis before JaVale. I mean, JaVale blocks shots, he hustles, he fouls. If he fouls you gonna have to go to the line because you ain't getting no 3-point play on JaVale. Mm-hmm. I mean, his rotations is just inconsistent. They're real inconsistent. And then you go just like he put in those 2 rookies. You know, he let those 2 rookies play ball. I don't have a problem with that. But then you got the veterans who play consistent and they're not even getting on the court, and you wondering why.
Yeah.
Why they not even get on the court? It's just Brown just too inconsistent. I don't know if I think he just wake up one day and say, I'm gonna play this kid. I'm you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. Because JaVale, he's gonna be my backup, my first backup to Sabonis.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you know, Alex, JaVale got a couple of rings. He got, veteran experience. You know, he's physical. He blocks shots. Lynn, I don't have a problem with Lynn, but Lynn has been a career backup. He never really done anything.
Yeah. No, I hear you, Willie. And look, I thought Alex Len played well, right? They're just two different guys, and it depends on what you want. I think JaVale can give you more highlights, but he can also give you more lowlights. So it just depends on what that flavor is that you want. You know, I do want to touch on something, Chris, as far as something we've been seeing with Sasha. And here's the two things. The difference is we're not talking about the rotation, because I've seen people say, hey, if you look at where Sasha plays, there is a log jam.
Yeah.
You have, whether you are putting him in the Harrison Barnes category, there's Trey Lyles.
Even.
Yes, and if you're putting him with Keegan Murray, and then you have, either way, there is a bit of a logjam with Chris Duarte or whoever. So there's two separate things. There's the logjam conversation, and then there's the fact that you're not getting in blowouts. That's not a logjam thing. Right. That's an opportunity to let somebody get his work in.
Yep.
Why doesn't Coach Mike Brown even think that he deserves to get his work in?
Yeah, that's where you wonder if there's something behind the scenes going on. I don't know if it's frustration. I don't know if it's that Mike Brown is just straight up uncomfortable with Sasha or doesn't feel like he's ready yet for the NBA game. I can't tell you, because it really doesn't make any sense to me. I can't explain it because, Sasha, granted, now I just looked at the Kings numbers since the turn of the year, and they're shooting 40% from three. So it's not really like they're struggling from beyond the arc or anything like that. Like they've been able to knock down shots. And so maybe it's as simple as that. Maybe it's just what Sasha provides as this team is still getting results. They just don't really need. They already have enough shooting out there, and I think that's really the main thing that you're going to look for Sasha for. Not that you can have too much shooting, but again, when there's so many things, or I shouldn't say so many things, that makes it sound like it's going bad, but when there's a couple things more so on the defensive end of the floor that you feel like that's really where your team needs to improve, you're not going to look at Sasha. That's why JTA is getting minutes, is because when you look at this team, the thing that they need is more length, more defense, more energy at all times. And, Sasha might be able to provide some energy, but there's a little bit of the defensive skill that's lacking in that department, where you're just not going to look at him to fix that.
No, that's a great point, because
but that still doesn't answer your garbage time question.
No, the garbage time question, I think, is a separate entity, but there just haven't been very many games. Kings, when they get blown out, they sell games so quickly that it's not a matter of they're hanging on, but the three ball just wasn't falling, and then they eventually lost. They're not doing anything. And then they get down too far, and then they have to shoot threes, and you're shooting threes, and you're a little bit tighter. So even the days where it feels, it's not as if they haven't had a straight up, and I don't want to say this because they're about to face the Sixers and the Bucks. They haven't had a straight up ice cold day where and partly it's because when they start out cold, they just sell the game, which is part of the issue that we've had with them. But an ice cold day to where it's, we're hanging on, Embiid is rolling, Tyrese Maxey's rolling, we're hanging on. We need somebody let's see if somebody can get hot for us, because Kevin can't get hot. Keegan's even cooling off, even though Keegan can't really touch the defense. Sasha, get in there. Let's see if you can ignite us. I think that's the thing. The offensive punch to ignite the team, you haven't really needed, because they've been selling games. They haven't even been in a situation where the offense is there. 916-339-1140. Let's get out to Emmy, who has our Bulgarian intel. Emmy, per source, do you have any information for us on Sasha? Stiles Watkins, Sactown
Hey, guys. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good afternoon. Sorry. I'm the Bay Area. That doesn't really matter right now. What I know is Sasha is playing only when either Barnes is traded or either Lyles is injured. Also, to my understanding, Sasha is not on the trade list at all. That's what James said yesterday to Bulgarian Direct Radio Media Online. So he won't be even traded.
That's interesting. Yeah. No, thank you for the call, Emmy. We saw that report as well. Didn't really see it take off that much, so I didn't really know what to do with it. But yeah, unless Harrison Barnes does get moved, kind of to your logjam conversation, Harrison Barnes or Trey Lyles, it doesn't seem like he's going to crack the rotation. But even so, we get a breaking news sounder from Shams right now. Don't do it, Kyle. I see you moving your hand. Don't do it because somebody's going to think something actually happened. We get a sounder right now, and Harrison Barnes is gone. Do we really think that on Friday, all of a sudden, Sasha's going to get time?
I actually think so. Because of how erratic Mike Brown has been. Like, because that's the thing about all of it. Even if HB stays, like, how many, like with Davion, there's been no predicting when Davion's going to be in, when Davion's going to be out. Chris Duarte, I mean, you had some indication of when he was going to play and when he wasn't. But for the most part, I mean, with Mike Brown's rotations, especially with these fringe guys, it's just been wild. I mean, even Sasha himself has gone from, like 6-7 minute stretches to he played 21 minutes in his last appearance against, who was that against? He played tons of minutes. I can't remember who it was against, but the last time we saw Sasha, he played, I think, 20 minutes. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if even, it wouldn't surprise me. I don't know why. I can't think of the logic.
The Pelicans, he got 21 minutes against the Pelicans, 11 points.
It was in a blowout.
Yeah, 1 of 5 from 3, 5 of 9 from the field.
Right, to counter our last blowout point. But, I mean, that was the last time he got in a blowout, in a 50-point home blowout, and he played pretty well in that fourth quarter. I just feel like, I think Sasha is he's I mean, it's going to be interesting, especially with the trade deadline stuff. Like, I don't think he gets traded unless the team specifically asks for Sasha, just because I don't think that many teams did their homework when it comes to the EuroLeague MVP coming over to America. Of course, I'm sure they heard about it, but I don't think many teams have done the due diligence of really seeing the exact kind of talent that Sasha is. So I'd be shocked if he were in a trade, but I also
that's true.
Wouldn't be shocked if like we said, if he just enters the rotation.
Yeah, I don't think it's a matter of he's an untouchable. It's a matter of, hey, I just don't think
how much is that adding
really
value? Yeah, like what's the difference
attention.
between for the 76ers? What's the difference between bringing in Sasha and bringing in Kessler Edwards? Like, it's they're both marginal 10th guy off the or 10th man in the rotation.
And it's worth saying, as far as the EuroLeague MVP situation is concerned, it's worth saying it's a very broad. I think last week we read off some of the other EuroLeague MVPs.
Yeah,
Luka Doncic won that award at 16.
Yes,
at 16. Okay, some of the names you'll recognize, some names you won't. For example, the front runner for the EuroLeague MVP right now is Facundo Campazzo.
Yeah.
Who?
Oh, yes. Love him.
He was a rotation guy on the Nuggets that season where the Nuggets, the season that the Warriors won the whole thing, right? And actually, it was a year before. I think he actually got time. He got less time in 2022. He's out of the league. So he's 32 years old. He's 5'11". All right. So just to put in perspective, EuroLeague MVP does sound great, but it's just a wide range of guys
the hope
that can
is,
win that thing.
The hope is that he'll be Bielitsa or Nikola Mirotic.
Exactly.
Like top level.
Exactly. All right, got to get to a break. When we get back, we want to have a really honest conversation with fans, okay, about booing. The Warriors were booed last night, and Klay Thompson said something that didn't make people happy. Just a couple days ago, Kings fans were booing the Kings. Sure. Where do you fall on the booing conversation? And I'll put it to you like this. You're not going to want to miss this because Chris and Alan do not feel the same as our producer Kyle. You're not going to want to miss this. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
And a handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10-5. Touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sactown Sports.
For a precision-crafted performance, the decision is easy. A new Acura from Acura of Stockton. Get the driving experience you've been waiting for in a new Acura. Get the best selection and customer service you deserve from Acura of Stockton. Shop in person or use our online express store at AcuraofStockton.com. Acura of Stockton will buy your trade, even if you don't buy from us. Don't settle for less than precision-crafted performance of a new Acura from Acura of Stockton and AcuraofStockton.com.
At Ashton & Price, we get injury victims to yes. Experience, yes. Ashton & Price has been around for over 25 years. No more insurance companies? Yes. Our clients focus on getting better, and we handle all the rest. Results? Yes. We've collected over $100 million for injury victims. No fee until we win? Yes. Our clients pay nothing until we win. Ashton & Price, the best at getting to yes. Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Jackson Hewitt has a plan to get your tax refund fast. With a buck here, a buck there. Here a buck, there a buck, everywhere a buck.
You don't have to wait weeks for your tax refund. Get money sooner with a no-fee refund advance loan at Jackson Hewitt.
On this loan, there's a money today guarantee. E-I-E-I-Do.
Don't settle for chicken feed. Get fast bucks at Jackson Hewitt today. No-fee refund advance loans by Republic Bank offered to eligible clients. Money today guarantee if approved for a loan on a prepaid card. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
The new year is upon us with promises of new beginnings and new adventures, but don't let 2023 slip away without savoring the memories of all you enjoyed with family and friends. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. Of course, looking forward with anticipation is exciting, but I have a lot to appreciate in this past year, and much of that revolves around time with family and more good times spent around my Naturewood dining table. Watching my grandson get messy with his birthday cake is priceless, and it reminds me that new life is the perfect balance between yesterday and today. Greet the new year with a visit to Naturewood Home Furnishings. See all the fine furniture and accessories on sale with Naturewood's New Year sale. Find that perfect piece of furniture that's new today and filled with memories for tomorrow. The memories you make with your family will be with you forever. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
Over the years, some of golf's best stories were about the legendary Ben Hogan. Tommy Bolt once said that Hogan was the only player he'd ever known to get an ovation on the practice tee. He said he saw Hogan playing practice rounds before a tournament where half the gallery was made up of other professionals. When Bolt was asked who was better, Jack Nicklaus or Ben Hogan, Bolt replied, "Well, I saw Nicklaus watch Hogan practice, but I never saw Hogan watch Nicklaus." That's a pretty definite answer. Hogan described the game of golf as a game of misses. He said, "The player who misses best is the one who's going to win." He believed that the first hole was the most important, saying, "Well, if you don't birdie the first hole, how can you expect to birdie them all?" Ben Hogan knew the value of positive thinking on the golf course. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
Get a great deal on your new Silverado at the Maida Chevy Silverado Superstore. Great selection, great factory financing and incentive, and great Maida Chevy savings on every new Silverado in stock. Online at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
Sacramento has a new tag team in the midday. It's Stiles and Watkins on Sactown Sports.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. I'm trying to think of a comparison for the backup quarterback, because this is, I mean, we say Sasha's name. Is it just the allure of somebody coming from overseas that you don't know about? Yeah. That it was really the biggest,
it was the biggest
acquisition,
name this offseason,
right?
for
This
sure.
offseason, because you say Again,
it's also
Kings are 5 of 6.
It's the past European connection here, where it's
Yeah.
like people see Sasha and they're like, "Oh my gosh, this can be our Peja, this can be our Hito, this can be our whatever." And it's like, sometimes not everything works out perfectly like that.
It reminds me of how every year when the Niners sign like either Richard Sherman or Jason Verrett, and they're like, "This will solve all of our cornerback issues."
Yeah.
It's like it's the name that you're falling in love with more than the
But
result.
he's not even a name though.
No, I mean, if you watch the style of play, I mean, that's what got fans excited in the first place. Was Sasha was somebody who you look at how he played in Europe, and then you look at how the Kings played last year. It was so plug and play, so easy to see. You didn't even have to squint to see the fit. It was have Sasha literally do what Keegan did last year, run off screens, only take threes, and see results. I mean, it was really that simple. And I think a lot of people, just myself included, Brendan was probably bigger than anybody else in the building here on Sasha. It was the fact that it seemed to make a lot of sense. And I think that's where a lot of the frustration stemmed from, is we spent a lot of our summer fantasizing about how easy the fit was going to be. And since the start of the season, it's been anything but easy for Sasha to get like consistent role.
Well, we don't know if there is a fit or not because he's not getting any playing time.
Yeah.
That's the current situation. From the 530, have you heard of the Kings, Malik Monk, expected to chase money in free agency news?
I just looked into it, and in my opinion, saying chase money, the quote of chase money, is a little bit disingenuous. I don't know. When I hear chase money, that to me sounds like, look, first and foremost, I don't care about situation. I don't really care about any of that. Who is paying me the most? That's who I'm going to have the most interest in. That's not really what the report was saying. The report is more saying the Kings can offer Malik up to this dollar point. At this point, I'm not sure that's going to be enough. I expect him to chase money, which I think just means, look, Malik's going to at least look for, he's not going to take a discount, is what that's saying. Is that taking, what would that be? Something near, if you're 4 years, 80 mil, it's pretty much what, 20 a year? He might be able to get 25, 26 and a starting role somewhere. And that's going to make a lot more sense for him. And he's going to take that instead of, oh, but don't you like it here? Your friends here. Like, we've had fun, haven't we? Like, what about the beam?
What's
I thought
that
you
line?
loved the beam.
If it's 20, if somebody else is, it's whatever the market says, right?
And he's the youngest, most exciting guard out there. So he's probably going to get some attention.
It's not as black and white as just take a pay cut to stay in Sacramento. It's take a 30% pay cut to stay in Sacramento,
And
potentially.
a reduced role too, because again, Mike Brown does not seem like he's changing his tune on Malik coming off the bench. And something tells me if you're going to sign a dude to 20, I mean, at that point, if you're beating the Kings offer $25+ million, you're probably going to start that guy.
How often is it reported within a team, let's say very similar to a Malik Monk situation, to where it's breaking news, X player signs extension, and it's a bench player, is expected to enter the starting lineup? So let's say we're in the summer here, and it would be something like that. Due to this due to this extension, it is expected that this player will move from the bench to the starting lineup. Didn't we go through that a little bit with Tyler Hero? And then it went backwards because he got injured, because he got the same extension that the Jordan Pools and the Anthony Simons got. And it was, okay, he's going to be a starter. And then you know how Spoelstra is, and Tyler Hero can't stay on the court. But would it be something like that? Shams breaks it, or Woj breaks it and says Malik Monk has agreed to this extension with the Kings. At this price point, it is assumed that he will now be a part of the starting lineup.
I would assume that if that were to be reported, it probably wouldn't be so much attached directly with the number, and more so this extension comes with the understanding that Malik Monk will enter the starting lineup, who has been a big part of the Kings bench rotation or something. But it won't be directly, since he's getting paid $20 million. I just don't think it'll be that black and white, because sometimes you can have like Harrison Barnes as somebody who's making $17 million a year, and you might say, like, we're okay with that number coming off the bench. So I think it would be more of a, hey, as part of this new agreement that we're having, part of that agreement is him joining the starting lineup. So it's really just semantics.
Yeah, but it matters.
It does. No, it definitely matters.
From Kentucky.
Yeah, you get those player intros.
You do with the fire, the pyrotechnics, team of the year, 916-339-1140. All guessing callers join us from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Let's get out to David, who wants to be a part of the conversation. What's up, David? You're on Stiles and Watkins. What you got for us?
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
Of course,
So
of course.
Just real quick, two things. I definitely think that Sasha deserves playing time. But aside from that, I don't know if you guys talked about it today, but he's been mentioned in some sort of trade piece, trade talks and stuff like that, which I find super jacked up because we're the ones that tried to convince him to come here and move his entire life and family to get here in the first place. So to just ship him off after not even one season with us, after we're the ones that coerced him to do it, I think would be just morally, like ethically kind of messed up. Not the business side of it.
Right.
Let me know what you think.
No, for sure.
Yeah, thanks for the call, David. Yeah.
Have this man move quite literally across the globe and then sit him and then trade him. You're not wrong, David.
Yeah.
That's not a great look.
Right. Because, if you've been recruited for anything, for a job, for if you played a sport after high school, for anything, they sell you on a lot. Hey, you are going to be a part of this community. We see this, we see that. So for them to then do, like we said, Coach Mike Brown out there in Europe watching him play.
Right.
We invested in you. So for that investment to change so quickly, I don't know if it would be a bad look. Ultimately, business is business, but it wouldn't be a good look. Right. To David's point, he understands the business side of it.
Think about all the bad PR this could cause, though. I mean, Sasha was a EuroLeague MVP that the Kings plucked and promised, we're going to give this guy a role. Okay, you're not just going to leave Europe and ride the pine, which is what he's doing. Where they said, we're going to pay you, I think he's getting $7 million a year, which is like triple what he was getting in Europe. It was, they're really possibly running the risk of this getting to other potential European stars that the Kings might, who knows, not next year, but maybe 4 or 5, maybe even 10 years down the line in a completely different, management and everything. Monty McNair could be long gone, but this could have long-term effects. Like if Sasha has enough power overseas, that dude's been around, especially the European circuit.
They did me dirty.
If that gets out, and the Kings try and similarly recruit somebody over from overseas and say, hey, we want you to be a part of our rotation, that player can look at them and say, frankly, I saw what you guys did to my boy Sasha, and I don't want to hear any of the lies you guys are telling me, because how am I supposed to believe that guy was a EuroLeague MVP and y'all sat him on the bench like it was nothing? So it's worrisome. I mean, the Kings really, Mike Brown for sure isn't thinking about those kind of things, but it is something where if you're Monty McNair, that's something you got to think about, where if you're not using this asset, you should probably use it for to get an asset that you're actually going to use, or try and make good on Sasha, because, this could have further damage on your negotiations.
By the way, Alexander Vezenkov.
Yes.
Most commonly known as Sasha.
Yes.
That is his actual first name.
It is. Yeah.
There you go. The more you know. Got to get to a break. When we get back, we will have a conversation about booing in sports. Is it okay? Is it not okay? Do you care? We also will have Brandon Gustafson at 1:15 to talk Seahawks and moving forward from Pete Carroll, if they're actually moving forward from Pete Carroll. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports brings you a doubleheader of NFL playoff action this Saturday. The playoffs begin in Houston as the upstart Texans host the Cleveland Browns.
That's it! The Browns are going to the playoffs!
Following Game 1, the Dolphins head to Arrowhead to face Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs.
Touchdown! Kansas City!
Coverage of Super Wildcard Weekend begins Saturday at 1 on Sactown Sports, your home for Super Bowl 58.
Contact Tax Relief Helpers for details and restrictions. Attention anyone that owes money to the IRS. The IRS has restarted aggressive enforcement actions against taxpayers who owe back taxes that were temporarily suspended for COVID. If you owe $10,000 or more, you must hear this because now is the time to clear your IRS tax debt. A special toll-free number has been established so you can stop penalty fees, avoid liens, levies, and other hostile measures by the IRS. Call Tax Relief Helpers right now at 800-817-7142. Tax Relief Helpers will provide you with the maximum protection afforded by law.
I got behind on my taxes and owed $48,000. I didn't know what to do. I called and they got my bill lowered to just $3,500.
I owed $87,000 in taxes and it was scary. I got the amount I owed down to just $3,500. I saved $83,500.
If you owe money to the IRS, don't wait another day. Call 800-817-7142 right now before the IRS enforces liens, levies, and other aggressive measures. The call and consult are absolutely free. Call now. Call 800-817-7142. 800-817-7142. 800-817-7142.
Hey, what's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet, Hoblet Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Woodland. Well, it's the new year, so the big question is, what's happening at Hoblet for Chrysler's Start Something New sales event?
Sadly, the end of an era is here. Dodge has stopped making the classic gas-powered Charger and Challenger, so this is your last chance to get your hands on some American muscle with that iconic V8 power. And now is the best time to buy because you can get up to $7,000 off MSRP and 0% financing for 72 months on new 2023 Dodge Charger SXT and Challenger GTs.
Oh, that's one of those things you hope they wouldn't actually do. It truly is the end of an era.
Yeah, and that means when they're gone, they're gone.
See our full inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period. 7,000 total net savings after 6,500 dealer discount and 500 factory rebate. Includes 500 first responder cash. Must be member of qualifying first responder program. Plus 0% financing for 72 months on approved credit through Chrysler Capital. 700 plus FICO score required. $1,389 per thousand borrowed and no payments for 90 days. 5 of this net savings. Sample VIN 648404.
We're from Washington. We love Febrez's new scent. Refresh and energize.
So much we made a song about it.
I can't escape this feeling inside. Refresh and energize. It's a mood. It's a vibe. Breathing for the first time. So free, so alive. Breathe happy for free. Smells like paradise. Breathe happy for free. La, 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 la.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
So here's a fact. 85% of the population will suffer from foot pain in their lifetime. That's almost everyone. So you'd think there'd be plenty of healthy long-term remedies, but there just aren't, right? Hi, I'm Dan from the Good Feet store. You know, people come in all the time sharing the same frustrating story. Bought this, tried that, been there, done whatever, all different kinds of things, but all with a similar result. Nothing. A discouraging and endless cycle of disappointment. If this rings a bell, don't despair. There is hope. If you think you've tried everything, you probably haven't tried Good Feet arch supports from the Good Feet store. They're designed to relieve, even eliminate, the pain commonly caused by certain foot conditions like plantar fasciitis, bunions, flat feet, and others. Plus, provide better balance and increased comfort. See what we can do for you with a free arch support fitting. Just stop in or schedule an appointment. With over 200 stores, there's likely one in your neck of the woods. Find yours at goodfeet.com.
Knee, foot, or back pain? Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
The Arnold Law Firm has seen how an injury can turn anyone's life upside down. Whether it's a slip and fall, a car accident, or any other kind of injury. For almost 50 years, the Arnold Law Firm has been here to help you through the entire process to protect you and your family. If you are ever injured or in an accident, call the Arnold Law Firm. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777. That's 916-777-7777.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your new home for 49ers football in the 916.
Sactown Sports.
Sacramento has a new tag team in the midday. It's Stiles and Watkins on Sactown Sports.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. We will be joined by Brandon Gustafson at 1:15 in 15 minutes. Seahawks writer for Seattle Sports, to talk all things Pete Carroll, just one of the legendary coaches that will not be coaching either at all or where he was previously coaching. That is in 15 minutes. There is a new piece out for you Giants fans out there by our guy, Frankie Cardicelli. We know he likes his Yankees, but he can talk some baseball now. He has a piece out there about the Giants' interest in Marcus Stroman. I think that would be a great pickup.
Of course.
And, Chris, excuse me? What is the problem, Chris? Why do you keep saying I like Marcus Stroman?
He's just your type.
What does that mean?
Come on, Alan.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah, what do you mean by that?
Come on, Alan. We know you got a type,
I have a type?
Yeah.
And what is my type?
I'm really bad at conversion, so I'll just say the under 6 foot variety. I was going to give like centimeter, but
Huh.
Yeah, you never realized that about yourself?
I like Kyler Murray.
You do like Kyler Murray.
I like
Baker Mayfield.
A
lot of heart.
Stroman.
A lot of heart.
Russell
like
Wilson.
You said, height doesn't
measure heart. That's
I bet
Marcus
you would have
Stroman's
taken Bryce Young over CJ Stroud.
Oh, definitely.
I would have to. Kyler Murray changed the game, people.
Yeah.
He changed the game.
First round pick in 2 sports.
All right, who else is there?
Come on.
I was a big Dustin Pedroia guy, and at that point, I didn't even.
Actually?
Local. At that point, I didn't even know I was done growing.
Yeah.
I just assumed.
It's a natural connection.
I just don't like their tone. I just don't like, and I definitely don't like your tone, Kyle. Kyle walks in. Oh, my brother's 6'5". Kyle, no one asked you. Nobody at all.
That was 4 hours ago. You're still
on
holding
my
on.
mind because you just threw it out there. I didn't even have my coffee yet.
That was 4 hours ago.
I don't want to hear it. All right, fans.
Yeah,
booing.
Yeah,
and the reaction to the boos. We have some sound. We have a couple of different sounds. Let's get to the sound from Steph Curry first, and then we will hear from the hotter one with Klay Thompson and kind of get our takes on everything. Let's hear from Steph first when he was asked about the booing. Kyle's working on it.
Yeah, that's the sound of of Chase Center.
Yes.
I don't even know what to say about it because I don't want to be prisoners of the moment and understand. We're obviously struggling. There's nothing to really cheer about. So opposite of cheering is booing. Might as well. I don't take it any certain type of way. Honestly, I'm booing myself, booing our team in my head because of the way we're playing. So, it is what it is. Fans are going to react the way that they want. It's our job to, give them something to cheer about. And we have not done that.
I'm out there booing myself is a bar. It's more of a
Can we get a graphic
bar.
with that, please?
Yeah, it's a very sad bar, but it is a bar. Let's hear now. So that's Steph Curry, and we were just applauding Steph Curry, Klay Thompson. That's another blowout where they went out, by the way. It wasn't Moses Moody or somebody like that. Now let's hear from Klay Thompson, who was also asked about the booing.
To the last 2 home games, obviously you're not used to that. How do you handle that?
Are you supposed to lose sleep over it?
So that made a lot of people upset. Klay Thompson, I don't even know how many millions he's worth. You spend your hard-earned money. And the question really became, I saw a couple different takes on social media. I saw these guys brought you 4 championships in 8 years. How can you boo these dudes? I saw people mad at Klay Thompson for the way he reacted. And obviously everybody, Steph Curry says the right thing. We were going through our breakdown of the show today, and we are talking with Kyle. And Kyle then says that he thinks that booing is whack. Okay?
Yeah.
And I felt like booing is not whack to me. Okay, if you want to say, oh, you shouldn't boo these guys because of what they brought you, I guess that's a take.
Right.
But the Kings were getting booed, and the Kings haven't won anything in forever. So I think if you spend your hard-earned money,
equal opportunity.
If you spend your hard-earned money and someone isn't up to snuff and you're getting embarrassed, that's the line. Not losing, not down by 10. Embarrassed. Then that also means you have expectations.
Yeah.
Are they even booing in Detroit? Are they even booing in Charlotte? Why would they waste their time booing? Because they're
going to get tired.
Exactly. They'd lose their voice, honestly, because there's no expectation. So that's where I'm at with booing. I don't think that Clay meant it in a bad way. No. I don't think he meant it like, I'm rich and you're not. But it kind of sounded like that. It kind of sounded like, why am I supposed to lose sleep?
Am I supposed to lose sleep because some peasants don't like me?
Exactly. That's how it sounded, but I don't think that that's how Clay meant it.
No.
And I think most people knew that, but it did sound bad.
It sounded really bad.
I want to hear from you. I want to hear from Kyle. I want to hear from everybody listening as well. Where are you at with booing?
Honestly, I'm booing myself.
I'm booing myself.
I mean, I think it's fine for sure. Like, I think even, like you said, like, regardless of whether they want to hear it or not, like, sports are entertainment and fans are paying money to go, think of the arena no different than a movie theater or something like that. If you see a movie you don't like, something corny, something cringe happens, you're going to boo the movie or you're going to walk out.
You boo in a movie theater?
You could if the movie's bad enough,
feel like it.
I think that, even I don't even think there's anything wrong with booing good teams too. Again, if you feel like
they boo the Eagles every other week,
if you feel like the team you're watching isn't living up to the expectations that you feel like you should have for them, like even the 73 win Warrior team with KD and all those stars, if I go to a Warriors home game and I see them, struggling to beat the Sacramento Kings at that time, I'm probably going to boo. I'm going to say, look, I paid my good money to see Kevin Durant drop 50 on the Kings, okay? Not struggle against, Travis Outlaw, okay? And so I think it's totally fine. I think as someone who paid, like you said, their hard-earned money to sit there and watch.
And in the Bay?
If you ain't happy in the Bay, sitting through traffic,
come on, man.
That's how you choose to spend your money? Nah, I've got no problem with it. I will say, if anything, there should be a level of respect for, hey, this team brought me like the Patriots. The Patriots should not boo Bill Belichick for a losing season because of everything he brought them. You can maybe boo Bill Belichick for winning too many games and ruining your draft pick if you want, but I think that you're well in your right to boo if the performance you're watching isn't up to the level that that those performers are capable of performing at.
Yeah, and I saw a lot of, these are new Warrior fans, and they don't get it. We were in the struggle. You probably booed back then, and you don't want to go back to the struggle. Yeah. Kyle, look, man, we want to hear from you. We want to hear the other side.
You do?
Yes, we do.
Wow. Okay, so like I said to you guys earlier, if you are booing, let's use the easiest example, Kevin Durant going back to Oklahoma City. Like, the collective booing of Kevin Durant is like, okay, I acknowledge we've normalized this in sports culture, whatever. I'm not going to be the person who's like, that's so disgusting that they're booing Kevin Durant. I'm not that person.
Okay, so situational booing.
Yeah, I think for me, I've thought about this more since we talked about it earlier. Like, I think it's the individual versus the collective. Like, we've normalized booing in sports culture. It's fine, whatever. I'm not the person. You do you, whatever. I'm not going to be judgmental about it. If I am in a crowd and I turn to my left and I see an individual grown adult person booing another grown adult person, I'm just going to look at that person and think that person's whack.
That's crazy.
So what are you supposed to do if Draymond Green is standing on the bench yelling at your entire section as, you're trying to watch a playoff game?
Kyle, the whole it just comes with it. If Chris and I do this show and we have a bad show, I would expect somebody, and they do, on the text line to say, this is a trash show, or these are trash takes. The thing is, you're booing someone that is in a completely different. I think, to me, to be honest with you, I don't know how much booing happens. I'm going to take it there. I don't know much booing happens in the floor seats. Like, if you're sitting right there on the floor and you're basically a millionaire as well, I don't think they're booing. I think that if you're in a completely different tax bracket than me, you're in the 1%, you do a job, right, where you get to play a game, you work your butt off, I get it, but you get to play a game, and that's what you get paid to do, and I'm going to watch you perform, and you are underperforming, and I paid to watch you. I can boo you. I'm not calling you a bleep. I'm not calling you anything.
But now you're making I get that boo is like the most convenient way to voice displeasure with someone. Again, we've pretty much normalized it, but by by making the straw man argument of like, oh, they're millionaires making a bunch of money.
I just think it comes with the territory.
And that's fair, but it also is dehumanizing the people who you're actually playing. And I'm just going to sit there and just, I'm not going to be the person who boos. Like in the Draymond Green situation, I would find that incredibly funny.
And I don't even boo. And I don't even boo. I don't even boo. But if somebody feels like booing, that was Family Day.
Also,
the Kings tricked off that game on Family Day. I got my kids. I bought them $40 nachos. Okay, I got to do all this, and y'all didn't show up.
Also, since when is booing hurtful?
Yeah, I don't think it's. I also don't think it's hurtful.
I would much rather you boo me than yell at me like what Russell Westbrook has been saying. Granted, it's the West Brick, but I'd much rather you boo me than yell cupcake at KD all day. Like,
but that's just because we've normalized booing.
But what do you mean we've what normalized it in terms of what? Like, how is it bad? How is it hurting somebody tremendously to be booed?
Years ago. Again, this is just historical content. Like, it used to hurt when teams got booed. Now people get booed and they don't even bat an eye at it. It's the West Brick stuff. It's the Isaiah Thomas going into the crowd. It's the disrespectful type of stuff that takes it to another level.
But in a weird way, I think that booing shows respect. So. Like I said, I wasn't in Detroit these last 2 games in Detroit and Charlotte. You didn't hear boos. You didn't hear anything.
Yeah.
Because there were no expectations. So I think booing is saying we expect more out of you.
Yes.
Instead of if you don't say anything, if it was silent in Golden 1 when they're losing to the Pelicans, then okay, you can say, well, if you're
nobody
a fan,
boos a youth basketball game.
Right. Well, you never know these days. You never know these days.
That's true.
I think in a weird way or in a different way, it's actually, hey, we expect more out of you. If it's the same thing when you played a sport or if you ticked off your parents. If your parents weren't upset that you got a D, that probably means they don't think you're very smart.
Yeah.
Right.
Or like,
you did your best, sweetie. You did your best. But if they're mad that you got a B+, that's because they expect you to get an A. That's how I view it.
That's totally fair. And I'm not the person who's going to come in here and be like, nobody should boo, all that stuff. Like, I wish that would be the case, but that's fine. Whatever. People do their thing.
Sports.
You're right. You're right that people paid, and so therefore they can do they can
cross
an objective line.
Yeah,
it depends on context and stuff like that, but it's just
so we're just not supposed to have any expectations for going into a game.
I'm not going to do it by booing.
So what? How do you voice your displeasure?
Well, personally, I would not. I'm just going to sit there and be like, I'm going to.
So you're just pizza.
I'm going to turn to the person next to me and be like, oh, this sucks, doesn't it, or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, and you're probably. There's no way you're alone, Kyle. I don't think you're alone. I just. It's not. To be honest, we got to get to a break. It's less about you saying you wouldn't boo and more about your take on booing being whack.
Yeah.
Right?
I think it is.
It's not about you not wanting to boo yourself.
Yeah, but Chris was asking me about like what I would personally do in that situation. Like, fair. I'm not going to be the person who's booing. That's just not my MO. But when I see other people do it, it's like, come on, man, really?
Yeah.
Like when I see Philadelphia booing and I see
boo every other week.
Those people in the green hat, like when they fan on the individual who like is cupping their hands to make sure that AJ Brown really hears them.
Don't forget, fanatic fan is short for fanatic. Can never forget that. All right, got to get to a break. When we get back, we will be joined by Seahawks writer, from Seattle Sports, Brandon Gustafson, to talk all things Pete Carroll. What's next for the rivals up north? Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sactown Sports and the Sactown Sports app.
Carmichael Dave here for Jiffy Lube, your proud sponsor of the Drive of the Game. Now listen to every Kings game for Gary Gerald's Drive of the Game call. Then listen to Jason and myself the next morning for a chance to win a $100 Jiffy Lube certificate, courtesy of all the Jiffy Lube locations in the greater Sacramento area. Get your vehicle ready for the holiday driving season at Jiffy Lube today. Oil changes, wiper blades, tire rotations, and more. For more information, go to jiffylube.com.
I'm Craig Ashton of the injury law firm of Ashton and Price. Whether you've been injured on a bicycle, as a pedestrian in a slip and fall, auto, Uber, Lyft, or big rig accident, you need Ashton and Price in your corner. When you call Ashton and Price, there's no chatbot telling you to hit 3 for accounting. You're greeted by a real live person who will immediately transfer you to an experienced attorney. The consultation's free, and there's never a fee until you win.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
Live and local, it's Stiles and Watkins. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sactown Sports app.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. We are joined by Seahawks writer for Seattle Sports, Brandon Gustafson. Brandon, thank you for joining us. And we really just wanted to see what is going on up north in Seattle. Were you surprised? We saw that you were in the press conference. Just take us through the last 24 hours.
Yeah, been a little strange, that's for sure. I thought going into this week it was a possibility. They always kind of talk after the year about contingency plans, and obviously Pete's not getting any younger, even if he acts like a little kid on the sidelines half the time. But you know what ultimately I think happened for me was I thought that once Tuesday passed that it was just going to be kind of status quo. Maybe they fire a coordinator or two, do some coaching staff changes on the assistant side. But I thought once we got past Tuesday that Pete was going to be back on the sidelines this next season, and obviously that's not the case, and we had just a really kind of surreal day yesterday up here.
Yeah, I mean, it really seems like it came out of nowhere from the outside looking in. And how much of this really was about Pete's performance these past couple of years, and how much of it more so is about the future of the Seahawks?
Yeah, it's a good mix of both. I mean, Pete was asked, I think it was one of the last questions he was asked about, like, hey, if you guys would have made the playoffs, do you think this would have happened? And he kind of quipped like, well, wouldn't have been today. Right. which I thought was just, pure Pete in a lot of ways. And, definitely got a good chuckle out of everybody. But, they were 9-8 last year. They were 9-8 this year. They went 7-10 in Russ's last year. And, you look at the entire body of work and you see, Super Bowl title, Super Bowl appearance, 14 seasons, 10 playoff berths. Well, they missed the playoffs 2 of the last 3 years. It's right. So half of those missed playoff seasons have come over these past 3 seasons. So I'm sure that was part of it. But Pete made it pretty clear too that a big part of it was the organization kind of just putting more power in John Schneider's hands. And Schneider's been the GM there the entire time Pete's been there in 2010. But I think a lot of people on the outside don't realize that Pete's also been the executive vice president of football ops. So Pete has final say over every single personnel matter, every single trade that they make, draft picks, signing, etc. Schneider obviously had a big hand in all of that, but the buck stops with Pete. And at least based on what Pete was kind of saying yesterday, it sounds like Schneider's going to have a lot more power, and that was a big part of why this was made as well.
Talking to Brandon Gustafson, Seahawks writer for Seattle Sports. Brandon, what do you think the appetite is for Pete Carroll at this point in time? I mean, we had 3 Hall of Fame coaches move on in the last 24 hours. Do you think he wants to keep coaching? Do you think there are teams out there that would be interested? I know we talked about his age. What do you think actually ends up happening next for Pete Carroll?
Yeah, I would guess that his time as a head coach is done. I don't. It's so hard to tell, especially because of the success of so many of these young guys. Right? Obviously, you guys down there, McVay and Shanahan, right? Like those are kind of the still, even just a few years later, like that's the hot thing. Teams want the young offensive-minded guys. Ben Johnson from Detroit's kind of the big sexy name that's out there in this coaching cycle. And I don't want to say like the game is totally passed Pete by, but I'm sure that that's going to be in the back of a lot of people's minds. Maybe Washington, just because organizationally that's been such a struggle to get just a real good, strong culture there. They have the new owner who could maybe want to go out there and make the big splash hire. Pete made it clear too yesterday, like he fought for his job. He wanted to keep coaching it. He was on our station on Monday and said that multiple times. He said it after the game on Sunday. So I'm sure Pete still has an appetite for coaching. I'm sure that he's probably going to take a few days to at least kind of reflect and think about what he wants to do. But personally, I would be very surprised if he's on the sideline next fall.
Interesting, Brandon. Yeah, you just kind of mentioned, Ben Johnson in there and how those young, flashy OCs are really the path in which it seems like the NFL is going in the head coaching route. Where do you think the Seahawks look? Is it more so that direction? Is it going to be a younger guy, or what direction really do you think the Seahawks are going to look for their next head coach?
Yeah, it's going to be. I'm really interested to see how fast they move on this and just what names get thrown out there. The first name that obviously came up was Dan Quinn, who with the Cowboys right now, D coordinator. Obviously, he was with the Seahawks back in the prime Legion of Boom days. He was their D coordinator for both those Super Bowl runs. So personally, I feel like they're going to run for a defensive guy. And I think part of it is two of the guys I mentioned. You're in the same division as McVay and Shanahan, and they've had just such a really tough time these last few years defending those offenses. Got swept by both of those teams this year. I think that another name that people probably aren't thinking about right now, but is a name that if the Seahawks do take their time with all of this, would be really interesting to keep an eye on, would be Mike McCarthy, because McCarthy was with Green Bay and John Schneider came from Green Bay. He was a front office executive. From what I heard, they're actually pretty close. So if McCarthy's tired of Jerry Jones breathing over his shoulder, if Jerry Jones says, hey, Super Bowl or bust, otherwise you're canned, that's a guy that if the Seahawks don't move quickly would be someone to potentially keep an eye out for.
Talking to Brandon Gustafson, Seahawks writer for Seattle Sports. Brandon, before we get you out of here, things are going to change now with the Seahawks and Niners rivalry. Just give us your take on the rivalry. What sticks out to you and what's going to change now with Pete Carroll stepping down? I mean, we know obviously it was Harbaugh and Pete Carroll, and now it's Shanahan. What are some highlights from the rivalry, and what do you think happens to it going forward?
Yeah, it's hard not to think about those years, 2011 through 2014, just the hard-hitting games between Pete's Seahawks and Harbaugh's 49ers. I think it's pretty obvious, at least to me. I feel like it's going to be a bit of a step back, and the 49ers have obviously taken that rivalry back. I mean, Shanahan for those first few years, he couldn't beat Pete, even when he had some of those really, really good teams and whatnot. I mean, at best, Shanahan was kind of splitting with him, but that's obviously turned over these last 2-3 seasons. And, I don't think that the Seahawks are going to be a team that's probably next year going to be competing for an NFC West title. I think that based on just kind of who they have, their cap situation, the veterans, the older guys that they're probably going to have to move on from, I think that this year is going to be a lot like what people thought last year was going to be, where it's maybe 5, 6, 7 win team, really just kind of trying to find their young foundation and move forward from there. And obviously quarterback's going to be a big question. The easiest year for them to get out from Geno Smith. They have a 16th pick in this draft, so maybe this is the year that they get a new coach in there, find their new quarterback, and take that kind of step back before trying to take a step forward that they just never really did under Pete.
Brandon Gustafson, Seahawks writer for Seattle Sports. Brandon, thank you so much for joining us, and best of luck to the Seahawks moving forward. It was a heck of a time to a legendary Hall of Fame coach, not just with the Seahawks, but also with USC. Brandon, thank you so much for spending some time to talk Pete Carroll.
Yeah, you bet, guys. See ya.
All right, you got to get to a break. When we get back, continuing to talk about the coaches, also getting back into some Kings talk. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
And a handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10, 5, touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sactown Sports.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Folsom Lake Kia.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. We're looking at sun and clouds for the afternoon. Pretty nice day ahead as we dry out. Expect highs in the low 50s with a light north wind and overnight lows back down to the 30s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
Don't miss out on New Year's savings at Folsom Lake Kia. Low prices and payments on your favorite new Kia models. Go see my friends at Folsom Lake Kia right here in Sacramento for over 25 years or FolsomLakeKia.com.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BC. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Have you ever envisioned having $500,000 in advertising to conquer the remodel market, but felt overwhelmed at the thought of going it alone? Now you don't have to. Join Subcontractors United and share your advertising with 2 other contractors in your trade. Get $500,000 in advertising for only $1,042 a month. We are so sure this will work that we're giving away free advertising until June 2024 to qualified contractors. Visit subcontractorsunited.com today.
It's Carmichael Day with a Fire Wings announcement. The Floor and Road location now serves pizza, and oh my goodness, it's so good. Don't forget the Wednesday lineup, 88-cent wings every Wednesday. You got 21 delicious flavors to choose from and the perfect fast casual eating establishment for the entire family. Save time and order online. Go to firewings.com or download the app. Find a location near you, order online, and earn rewards. Fire Wings, just wing it.
Are you tired of your tee shots ending up in the adjoining fairway while the rest of your foursome is hitting it down the middle? Well, experts will tell you that being properly fitted for golf clubs will help you strike your drive center cut. The Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio and its team of trained PGA professionals are ready to help you get rid of your banana balls and duck hooks. Hagen Oaks Indoor-Outdoor Player Performance Studio fittings are available 7 days a week. Make yours today by calling 916-808-2531. That's 808-2531.
The world has changed a lot these last few years. You can do pretty much anything from your home, including order your new Honda from Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Check out our great selection at StocktonHonda.com or come in today and get pre-approved all in the blink of an eye. Stockton Honda makes buying a car simple and stress-free.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Are you tired of your tee shots ending up in the adjoining fairway while the rest of your foursome is hitting it down the middle? Well, experts will tell you that being properly fitted for golf clubs will help you strike your drive center cut. The Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio and its team of trained PGA professionals are ready to help you get rid of your banana balls and duck hooks. Hagen Oaks Indoor-Outdoor Player Performance Studio fittings are available 7 days a week. Make yours today by calling 916-808-2531. That's 808-2531.
Sacramento's premier music festival, Country in the Park, is back. 2 big ol' nights, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Walker Hayes, and more. 2-day GA tickets are on sale now starting at $85, or upgrade your experience with VIP or pit passes. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPfest.com. Brought to you by Bonnie Plumbing, Electric Heating and Air.
Contact tax relief helpers for details and restrictions. Attention anyone that owes money to the IRS. The IRS has restarted aggressive enforcement actions against taxpayers who owe back taxes that were temporarily suspended for COVID. If you owe $10,000 or more, you must hear this because now is the time to clear your IRS tax debt. A special toll-free number has been established so you can stop penalty fees, avoid liens, levies, and other hostile measures by the IRS. Call tax relief helpers right now at 800-817-7142. Tax relief helpers will provide you with the maximum protection afforded by law.
I got behind on my taxes and owed $48,000. I didn't know what to do. I called and they got my bill lowered to just $3,500.
I owed $87,000 in taxes and it was scary. I got the amount I owed down to just $3,500. I saved $83,500.
If you owe money to the IRS, don't wait another day. Call 800-817-7142 right now before the IRS enforces liens, levies, and other aggressive measures. The call and consult are absolutely free. Call now. Call 800-817-7142. 800-817-7142. 800-817-7142.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. Thank you again to Brandon Gustafson, Seahawks writer for Seattle Sports. I don't know what they do. I didn't realize, I know they won it probably more than they were supposed to.
Yeah.
I didn't realize they had the 16th pick.
I didn't either. Yeah, that is
pretty
hopeless.
Yeah, you got to maybe literally trade something to get on up there.
You're not getting
you looking like you in JJ McCarthy.
JJ McCarthy range, exactly.
I don't think you want all
Michael
that.
Penix, local kid.
Yeah,
that makes sense, and I have heard that before as well. Michael Penix, who dropped a little bit from the week before when he balled out against the Texas Longhorns.
What'd you think of those coaching candidates Brandon threw out there?
Surprising.
Dan Quinn. How about the first thing that popped in my mind was, well, him and Kyle Shanahan have some familiarity with each other, don't they?
Yeah,
from those Falcons days.
Well, look, I'm gonna say the same thing that I've been saying. I think the Niners are set up for success for a while.
Yeah, as long as Kyle's there. Yeah,
but you need to get this Super Bowl now. Okay,
Mm-hmm. It's just a matter of
the season, and it's a matter of the situation. I think the Niners are going to be in contention. Maybe it is the start of a dynasty. It very well could be, but it's really hard. And this is somewhat of a down year. Let's be completely honest.
In the NFL,
with some of the injuries that we've had to quarterbacks and things like that.
For sure.
Go ahead and get it done now, because I think that you have some time. Okay, the Rams, I think, will be back and stronger next season. Then you have the Seahawks, who is going to take them a couple years. Yeah. So your division, you're going to have and the Cardinals are a mess. So you're going to have your division locked up for a while. It's not a matter of winning your division to me for the Niners, which they've been doing anyway.
Yeah.
It's going to come down to the Cowboys always trying to do something. What the heck happens with the Eagles and the AFC team? So it's less about, I guess I should have said it differently, because it's less about the Seahawks and more about just the fact that you got your licks in against the Seahawks. They're going to be good in a couple of years. So let's hope you just have a couple Lombardis.
Yeah.
And that number 16 pick could be something great. It could be EJ Manuel, who was picked with the 16 pick in 2013.
Florida State's finest.
Or Brian Burns, or Marlon Humphrey, or Zaven Collins.
There are some I don't know if they trade up, to be honest, because they need more, right?
Yeah.
So you're not going to give up to get one guy unless there's a guy that you really want. And what are you willing to give up? You're trying to get into the Caleb Williams conversation. Michael Penix honestly scares me just because of the injury. I think it'd be a great story, and he's a lefty, so I got love for him. I know he's one of my types too, Chris.
Almost. Just the lefty part.
No, just stop that.
The lefty
all right?
part is
so. I think it's a great story, but he got banged up in the national championship. His ankle was getting worked on. His rib. Do you see him walking into the tunnel?
Yeah.
I got to tell you, I got to be honest with you.
That man's 25 going on 40.
I got to be honest with you. Brother, you gotta fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
If the knock on you is that you've been injured, he's walking alone, looking like me after I tore my Achilles trying to just scoot around before I got it worked on. I just don't think it was a great final look. Unfair as it may be, and I'm not saying it's not, but I just don't think it was a great final look if I'm a scout. And the one thing I'm worried about with this guy is all the injuries he had prior to getting to Washington. And he's older. Yeah. I think he'll still get picked, but I was thinking about that. Man, can you just fake it?
Yeah.
Just get into the locker room.
Yeah. No, and I think that's where the second round, guess comes.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know if, especially in today's NFL, if you're not one of the two, Kyle's point kind of about EJ Manuel, like if you're a quarterback and you're not getting taken in that top 5, what does that say about really the guy you're going to be? Of course, there's still the Lamars and there's still the Brock Purdy's of the world, but it's also, the fact that Kenny Pickett was the first quarterback taken in that draft, and he went probably around that
22.
16 range. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Thank you. Yeah, like, that
or Mac Jones getting picked 15. It was like
it's the drop off, right?
Yes.
Because you're going to have Caleb, Drake May in whatever order.
Yep.
We'll have that conversation when it's time.
Jaden Daniels might be in there.
Jaden Daniels, and then you have the guys who just played, the JJ McCarthy's.
Yep.
And I would obviously put Penix over JJ McCarthy.
Well, and then there's going to be one team who thinks they can get something out of Bo Nix too.
Oh, of course.
Oh, yes.
There's going to be that team that
the
thinks
smartest team at the draft that's the Daniel Jones guy. The Daniel Jones team. Who will be the Daniel Jones team?
Someone believes they see a big slinging arm quarterback and they're like, I can make that work.
And Bo Nix, is this the oldest draft? Is this the oldest NFL draft?
Probably.
And this might be the end of this is probably the end of the COVID
should be
guys, right?
2024.
Next year should be the last year of the extra year of eligibility.
Got it. Okay, because I'm thinking, man, and you got the transfer portal.
Yeah.
You got guys, I saw Tua's brother is trying to get. Did you see this story? So Tua's brother is trying to
Maryland, right?
Yeah, he was at Maryland. But what happened was, and maybe this was always his plan. What happened was he took, I think, two WO, right?
Yeah.
Two snaps that made it 2-0, too many snaps in order for him to redshirt while he was at Alabama, and he came in for Tua when Tua got injured. So he's saying, I was doing it to honor my brother, right? I wasn't doing it to actually play.
Sure.
So he's trying to get that 6-year back. Brother, you don't just become your brother's agent and keep it pushing. Come on now, man.
Just keep it pushing, bro.
He had like the most passing yards in the Big Ten, something like that, but nobody's talking about him, so that's probably a ceiling thing.
Yeah.
If you don't just become your brother's agent and stop this madness.
Just chill, bro.
He's going to be in that Max Duggan group of like, oh, hey, this guy got taken in the 6th round.
USFL.
No, but I don't think he's going to get. I think that's why he's trying to go back and get that NIL money. I don't know where he's trying to transfer, but yeah, he took 2 additional snaps, which made it too many in order for him to get, which took him out of redshirt category. And he's trying to get that year back.
To go back to the Seahawks, I'm curious you're missing out on the top of the draft. You're missing out on presumably the top 3. We'll just say the top 4 to make it cleaner, to say, there's not another quarterback that's projected until the 2nd round. If you're a team like the Seahawks, and maybe the Raiders fall into this category a little bit, I think a little bit less so because they're higher up in the draft, but where would you want your team to go or to look at the quarterback position if you're missing out on those top guys, but you're in a Seattle situation where I don't really want to run it back with Geno? Like, do you look at the Jimmy Garoppolo route?
No.
I mean, are you looking at the Kyler Murray route potentially?
Nah, it's too cold.
Derek Carr?
No. Oh, my
At
goodness.
some point, you got to say yes to somebody.
You know who I want? Give me Trey Lance.
Funny you mentioned Trey Lance. Trey Lance is younger than Bo Nix.
That's crazy.
Of course
Yeah, that's a funny.
I know.
stat.
I am interested.
Kyle,
though.
you're probably younger than Bo Nix, aren't you?
I am.
Kyle
Yes.
is definitely
But
younger
that's
than Bo
easy. In fairness, we're both born after 2000, but yeah, I'm a good bit younger. Than Bo Nix.
I am curious if Trey Lance. This will be the season if we find out if he's just really bad. If nobody even comes calling for him. If he's 3rd string on the Cowboys again. Okay, Chris, how about this? If he's 3rd string on the Cowboys again to start next season, I will not utter the names Trey Lance again on these airwaves.
There's no way you could pay him as much as he's being paid to be your 3rd string.
So you think
somebody's got to take a risk on him?
Somebody has to, right?
Has to. Even if it's like Atlanta or somebody,
that's what I'm thinking.
To just see, there's got to be something here, right?
I'm saying, if you're Seattle and you're stuck,
even if you're not planning on starting him, just to have him in the competition to say, like, we're trying to find an answer.
This is what I would do, and I know the problem is I don't even know how far that price tag goes. He keeps moving around, and that contract has to end soon. You bring in, you go out. Okay, what's wrong with getting if you are 15 or below, you get a JJ McCarthy and get a Trey Lance and see what happens.
Because the problem is you might end up with no quarterback. I guess
that's also possible.
But
I would take those 2 before I give Jimmy Garoppolo another chance.
Jimmy specifically, yeah. I mean, for sure. I mean, I might even be there with Derek Carr too. I don't care how many touchdowns he threw in week 18. I personally, if I were running an NFL team and there were no risks and I didn't have to care about being fired, sure. If this is Madden, yeah, I'm definitely taking that risk. That sounds a lot more like you're going to find an answer if you take a risk on two young unknowns than bringing in Derek Carr. But the reality of the situation is all these dudes are trying to keep their job, and they're trying to win as many games as possible.
Yeah, normally you do one and the other. So you give Derek Carr a last hurrah, and then you draft Michael Penix. You wouldn't go
join at any point.
Yes. You wouldn't go Penix and you wouldn't go 2 question marks, basically. Yeah. At least you might not think this guy is very good, but you wouldn't go 2 question marks. All right,
I would just always have Gardner Minshew as my backup at all.
Gardner Minshew or Taylor Heineke.
Andy Dalton.
Andy Dalton, he's somewhere.
Super solid.
The season hasn't started until Andy Dalton has taken a snap. Did he take a snap?
Yes, he did. Yeah, he played a full game for the.
Yeah, that's right. Because Bryce Young had the.
Yeah, he can't
concussion?
and Bryce Young can't do quarterback sneaks.
Andy Dalton is essentially, if your team signs Andy Dalton, you're drafting a quarterback.
There you go. Dwayne Baker on the sack chat before we get to a break. For the Raiders, bring in Jake Browning and Michael Penix for the Raiders. I like that. I know the Raiders circle I've been in have been talking about Fields and also
another name,
Jaden Daniels, right? So I am interested to see what happens there. All right, got to get to a break. When we get back, crosstalk, Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Woodland. Well, it's the new year, so the big question is, what's happening at Hoblet for Chrysler's Start Something New sales event?
We're keeping our traditions alive by continuing to offer the best savings on remaining new 2023 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cabs. Right now, you can save up to $12,000 off MSRP, and even better yet, you don't have to make a payment for 90 days.
Wow, that's a pretty big deal. $12,000 off MSRP on one of America's favorite trucks?
That's the difference between Hoblet and so many others. We are here to help you get the truck you need at the best possible price, and you won't find a better selection of new Rams with over 500 trucks available. At Hoblet, we want you to be a customer for life.
See our full inventory at hobletdodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period. 12,000 total net savings after $68.41 factory rebates and $51.59 dealer discounts. Rebates may include 1,000 case equipment bonus cash. Must have purchased new case equipment from qualifying dealer. No payment for 90 days through Chrysler Capital on approved credit. 10th of this net savings. See dealer for details.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
I lock up my Old Spice Fiji aluminum-free dry spray to keep that 24/7 lasting freshness safe for myself. Fresh coconuts, palm trees in the wind. It's like catching waves in Fiji. Actually, I just talked myself into a refreshing spritz of Fiji. My Old Spice is missing! No!
Discover Roseville's hidden gem, Timbers at the Lodge, nestled in the Timber Creek Golf Course. Savor a culinary journey where every bite tells a story. We serve breakfast 7 days a week with happy hour Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m., where you can relax on the outdoor patio next to our newly renovated and expanded putting green. Thursdays always feature our $28 prime rib dinner. Reservations encouraged. Learn more at timbersatTheLodge.com. We look forward to welcoming you to Timbers at the Lodge, where exceptional food meets great times.
The 49ers Report, brought to you by EB Stone. EB Stone, for the life of your garden. The Red and Gold's 2023 regular season campaign ended with a loss in Week 18, falling to their rivals from the South 21-20. Backup quarterback Sam Darnold played the entire contest, having a good first half with 2 total touchdowns and 169 passing yards. The second half is where things fell apart, allowing 14 unanswered points by the visitors. San Francisco now ends the regular season at 12-5, elated to have a first-round bye in the postseason.
Welcome the new year with EB Stone, your go-to for indoor gardening success. In 2024, enrich your indoor oasis with EB Stone's Indoor Potting Mix, our best premium blend crafted for vibrant growth. Explore our comprehensive range from soil amendments to fertilizers and find everything your indoor garden craves. Nurture new beginnings, cultivate lush landscapes, and witness your dreams unfold. Cheers to a green and thriving new year with EB Stone, the heartbeat of your indoor garden success. Find a location near you for our products and tips at ebstone.org.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Kyle Draper, also known as Drapes, here for Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. That's where I got my gorgeous black-on-black EQS SUV. I'll be honest, it's the most stunning car I've ever owned, and let me tell you why I love it. First of all, the minute you step inside, you feel like you're driving a luxury vehicle. Plus, I love the onboard navigation system, and I tell you what, my kids just love the front seat and rear seat heating option. You know how it is up here in Northern California. You got to have that during the winter. And of course, during the summer, you got to have seat cooling. Well, my Mercedes-Benz EQS SUV has that as well. Go see my friends at Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. They believe, guys, that when you buy the world's finest car, it should be an experience you'll never forget. It's the greatest car shopping experience I've ever had. They were tremendous. The ease of buying, they just made it super simple. It's just 30 minutes from Sacramento, right off of I-5. And of course, you can always go online at mbofstockton.com.
Kevin Lewis of National Garage Door. Whether you need to repair a broken spring, install the new opener, or buy a quality Rainer door, National Garage Door is here for you. Call us today to see how we can transform your house with a new garage door.
638-4554 National Garage Door.
Live and local, it's Stiles and Watkins. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sactown Sports app.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, joined by Kevin Michael Whitey Gleason of the
Hello.
Drive Guys.
Hello.
The Whitey and Jay today. Whitey, you're not happy with, I don't know, because are you not happy with me or Chris or both about the whole side or the whole coalition of Kings fans? Because that was a hot topic on this show, Sasha's playing time. You said to me, you came and sat down, you said, Alan, I would glue Sasha to the bench.
No, I mean, I
don't know if I heard that.
That's not what I said, but you don't need to exaggerate because I think I have a pretty extreme stance. First of all, I don't know that I could ever be mad at Chris.
Okay, so just me.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, fair enough.
It's one thing for you to tweet, where's Sasha? You're already bad defensively.
Yeah. But
where is he?
Where's the lie?
Yeah. Well, it implies that you're either bad or you're good on defense. If you're bad, you can't get any worse. So
That's right.
That's not true.
No, but Sasha's not that bad.
That's
Chris.
Yeah.
He's not that bad on defense.
He hasn't been terrible, Whitey. Like every time we see him out there, I think maybe he's just better than what we expected because frankly, I think we were all expecting him to just be like, that video of Rudy Gobert getting completely turned around by Steph Curry. I think that was kind of like what I had in mind for what Sasha's
He's a better
defense
defender
was.
than Jordan Poole.
Well, so is this.
Whitey is coming in hot today. Whitey is not having it today at all. Please continue.
That's true. At least this guy has his hands out.
Come on, man. That's crazy.
My gosh. Whitey, something yesterday, or not even just yesterday.
Trey Lyles took Sasha's minutes.
He did. He sure did.
And what's wrong with that?
Nothing at all. Every time Sabonis does something crazy, it feels like he's breaking or in the conversation with Oscar Robertson as the only other people to do it. I'm just curious, like as someone who knows Oscar Robertson mainly as somebody who's just been a malcontent who hates how current basketball is played. How ridiculous was Oscar in his time? Like where was he regarded in terms of the pantheon of players? Because I mean, his numbers are just uneclipsable, some of them.
Yeah, Oscar was a little before my time. I just remember very late Oscar.
Sorry for just assuming that you would know everything about Oscar.
I'm flattered. He played for the Cincinnati Royals.
Right.
You asked Jerry, our buddy Jerry Reynolds, about
I know
Oscar.
he's got it all.
The best, I think the clearest way I can say it based on my understanding is you had Oscar, who begat Magic, who begat LeBron.
Okay.
You know how you can follow certain guys? There's like a lineage of players.
Right. Jordan to Kobe.
So
Kobe
that
to
big
whatever.
do-it-all point guard that also played some kind of like a forward.
Yeah.
Oscar, Magic, LeBron. And then, that's pretty good company.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, because the numbers he puts up definitely that tracks because it's the rebounds, it's the assists, but it's also. I mean, I know he played with Kareem, but I think it was Lou Alcindor actually at the time. But like, it's ridiculous, and the numbers that you look, it's. I mean, for sure, some Wilt Chamberlain's numbers from that era looks broken, but Oscar's numbers are just as broken, and it feels like it was before triple doubles were even an actual stat that anyone tracked.
I don't think he was aware of it because I don't think anybody really
That's insane.
did that.
It's just crazy.
Kept track of that.
Yeah, and we're going to keep track of this right here.
Changing the subject, huh?
No, I'm getting back to you. No. I actually have more ammo for when I get back to you. After this, pair of lift tickets to Sierra at Tahoe. Pull up, park, ski. Yep, it's that easy at Sierra at Tahoe. Sactown Sports has teamed up with Sierra at Tahoe this winter, and all you have to do is hit up the Folsom Lake Honda hotline right now, looking for caller number 4 to win a pair of lift tickets to experience Sierra at Tahoe this winter. Terms and conditions apply. For more information, visit SactownSports.com, 916-339-1140, 916-339-1140, caller number 4, and Kyle will take care of you, 916-339-1140. If you want a pair of lift tickets to Sierra at Tahoe, you want to get out there snowboarding, skiing, get some hot chocolate, take care of it, call in, and we got you. Now, this is what I was saying, Whitey. Back to what I was saying. By the way, Joel Embiid out tomorrow.
Ooh.
Out tomorrow. This is from Jason Anderson 17 minutes ago. Joel Embiid out tomorrow, and you have Robert Covington, and here's a name, Kenneth Lofton Jr., also out. So that's 3 guys out tomorrow. The big one, Joel Embiid. So we'll see how the Kings respond. It's been almost more dangerous on days like this. Jake Fisher is reporting this is a little bit different as well. Just more news to get through. I keep hearing, this is a quote, I keep hearing Andrew Wiggins' name attached to the Indiana Pacers. So that is something to monitor as well. Whitey.
Kyle Draper wants Wiggs here. I do
It
not.
looks bad. Right. Here's my thing with Andrew Wiggins. That year that everyone's alluding to in 2022 was the only year he played like that.
Right.
So why are we assuming that he's going to get back to that when all the other years he looked more like this?
Yeah, he just looks to me like a guy that he's a good guy. Just looks like he's just not really, he's kind of lost his zest for basketball.
Yeah. And, great third option. You thought he'd be a great third option, and he just.
If you throw in Moody, maybe we can talk.
If you throw in Moody, who has a calf injury, that's a little bit scary. We'll see how. And now you're changing the subject because here's where I'm at. We sat there at the game.
Yeah.
We sat there at the game, and you did the same thing. You said, Allen? Is it Allen? Stop talking about JTA or I'm going to drive up there. And what has happened? JTA is locking down Paolo Banchero. JTA is locking down Scary Terry Rozier. So you want to go. I know you got your Keon Ellis. That's a W for you, but that was with Draper, not me. I got you on JTA. And now do you want this again with Sasha?
Where are we with JTA now? JTA is nowhere near. You said he was better than Harrison Barnes.
No, I never said that. No, I never said he was better than Harrison Barnes.
Out of this, gentleman.
You absolutely said that.
I said he could do some similar things.
You said he was better than Harrison Barnes.
I don't recall that, Whitey. When did I say that?
Well, I had a witness, but he apparently wants to recuse himself.
No,
which is fine.
Look, I don't remember
can't
saying
keep up
that.
with your guys' argument.
No, I don't remember saying that. I said JTA can get some solid minutes and be a
there was
player.
Another person there who said, "There's no way JTA is as good as Harrison Barnes." That was what the other person was there said.
If I said that, it was tongue in cheek. I think that if I think that JTA gets some solid minutes, and that's what he's doing. He's back on the 10-day, and I just want to say, hey, he's getting on the floor.
He's a nice player.
He's a nice player.
Yeah, it's a nice story, but he's not as good as Harrison Barnes.
I don't think so either.
And I've been trying. Chris could. He would back me up on this. I've been trying to get Sasha traded since freaking June.
That is true.
Before he was even here.
You cannot say that when we only have
Whitey's
about 10 seconds left in the show. Whitey, that was great stuff. One of our most electric crosstalks. I know you're going to take it into the show. You and Jay got everybody for the drive, guys. Whitey Gleason, Jay Johnson coming at you. Thank you to Kyle. And, of course, it's Chris Watkins and myself, Alan Stiles. Until tomorrow, secure the bag, light the beam.
Light the beam.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sactown Sports app will let you